Yes, we're going to keep the ball again.
Whoa.
Bad weekend, mate. Bad weekend.
You
That's what 2 there does, mate.
I tell you what, Gordon, at least me and you are still professional neutral colours now.
I know. I get this bought for me.
Fleecy as well, eh?
I know.
This is 12 quid at Uniqlo, so that's a
I don't know how much that was. I don't know.
Is it Bergos? Is it Bergos?
Bergos.
Still kicking
As long as it keeps me warm, that's all I'm worried about.
You're looking staunch as anything, Biggie.
Fuck. You're getting as bad as my boys.
Where's the brown brooch?
My boys cane me all the time. I've got certain gear on. I'm not allowed to wear purple. Well, I'm just...
What's up with purple?
I don't know.
Oh, you had that stupid purple hoodie on.
What do you mean stupid purple? You can't talk, man.
You look like a 12-year-old boy
there, by the way.
It's because it was your purple helmet you were wearing. You can't do that.
That's not been out for a while, to be honest with you.
By the way, what again? It's Gordon Duncan, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's actually done you a disservice here, the guy who wrote the questions. Like, Clyde won super. He's so much more than just a Clyde super.
I cannot understand how much you must have been scraping the bottom of the barrel for a guest this week.
No.
Seriously.
First pick.
Don't give me that. And do you know why I know that's not true? Because see, last week I saw it in action, right? You'd Mark Wilson on last week, didn't you?
As Gordon Dale first.
So you won't know this. But they were sitting next to each other. In the office, I swear, right? So Gordon Dale's phone goes, they've asked me to go and open goal. I need to go to the airport, that's fine. And then Mark's phone goes straight away. Mark, we'd love to have you on. You were brilliant last week, get us on. So listen, I don't mind being and it's great to be next to Motherwell's Andy Halliday as well. So.
How buzzing are you? Or is that a bad thing though? Because you're going to be a wee bit
I used to like
critical,
a kind of love-hate sort of thing, do you know what I mean? I used to like it. And then he scored against Motherwell a lot last season, and I liked that wee bit of needle, so... And I can't bring myself to like worship him, do you know what I mean? But it's just going to be a race between me getting the Motherwell shirt first or you getting it for the wall up there, so we'll see.
Oh, I changed that. Fuck, man. He changed that.
Get that fuck, mate.
Get it in the bin.
Get that in the bin.
Let's get the class number one.
I tell you what then,
man.
if that's getting patched, we'll sign that and we'll auction it off to something at the end, right?
I was in a taxi yesterday. Somebody that played for you. I didn't know you were the manager of Clyde Bank. I thought you were always an assistant.
Player manager.
I
was kind of
Willie McVeigh, do you remember him? He says you might know he was a younger boy, put him out on loan.
There was a few guys who've come up to me at times and
says you had a few scraps as the manager.
Aye, well, you got to make training tasty,
That's what he said at training, middle of the pitch.
Aye, I think so, aye. We trained it different. That'd be Fergusley Park, we used to train down there.
What year was this, Dale?
I can't remember, it's going back. What was I, 30? I left Ross County because I got the opportunity to go into management. So, but I still wanted to play, so they says I keep playing as well, so player manager. But I had actually a good wee team at that time.
So spending a fortune, the guy told me. Billy McKinley, Darren Jackson in League One.
Well, do you know something? There's a story in there because we had too many good players. Billy McKinley was top drawer, and that was
a Blackburn, didn't he, to Clyde Bank?
And Darren as well, Michael O'Neill. Michael O'Neill. You know, but I didn't need the guys at that point, at that time, because they were a target in that division, you know, because players raise their game, as you know, when you go up against top players, you know, they were raising their game. So I was looking for something else, you know, just to get us out of that division. You know, maybe somebody with a wee bit less ability, somebody would maybe just put their, you know, their foot in, gives a wee bit of that. But no, the guys, owners at the time wanted me to go that way. And but there was one time I phoned up Billy just to say, listen, I don't think it's working, you know, and I mean, imagine me trying to gain Billy McKinley a knockback for Clyde Bank. Now, it was nothing that I would have loved him a division up because that's when we would have needed him. But
how did the fights happen to it? Why were you fighting?
No, it just happens in training, doesn't it? That was just to happen.
Really,
Aye, it does. But sometimes you need to create that to get a wee bit.
Just lay down.
So you're just
because sometimes training might be going through the motions, and sometimes it doesn't matter what you say to them. Well, sometimes you just need to give them a wee bit and just to get it going. You know, so.
Mate, I'm actually baffled to why it never worked for you.
Do you want to know why? Because that's probably part of it. Because see, I think now I would be a far better manager because I'm more laid back, a wee bit more mature, obviously. But then I was too fiery.
I'd love to see you manage.
Oh, I'd love to play under you.
Honestly,
I was too fiery at that time.
I've never heard the manager say they wanted worse players.
I know.
I don't. Do you know what I mean? I need a certain type to
kind of makes sense. I've just never heard it. I like it.
By the way, talking about no a fighter but a lover. Do you know this? I don't know if this has been mentioned on our podcast. Gordon Duncan is married. His best pal.
What?
You've married your best pal, am I right in saying that? Or you're going to marry your best pal?
Oh, alright, I was wondering what that was. I thought you were talking about my wife.
No, you've married somebody, haven't you?
Aye.
How did that come about?
Because of just one of my mates, he's just an absolute loose cannon.
Oh, you've told me this.
Every walk of life, like bomb scare on a night out, like just his own guy, like does everything different. And he phoned me and said, "Will you marry me?" And not as in like, will I conduct the wedding? And obviously I said, well, I don't think I've got the relevant qualifications. And nah, don't worry, I've sorted all that out. And we maybe shouldn't I don't know how legal his marriage is, right? But basically, it was funny enough, it's just up the road, St Luke's.
Was it?
Right.
So is it?
And so it was basically, I just stood there and did the whole Joey Tribbiani bit, you know, where he gets ordained.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Aye.
Nah, no, it was
You could
good.
marry me.
I would marry you.
Nah, you could do that, by the
But
way.
I'd be pure staring at Jilly, like a pure creep.
I think
Who'd be the dominant one then? In bed between the two of you?
No, we're not doing that.
they're not getting married to each other.
He's ordaining us, mate.
It's that personal touch, though. It was good.
I don't mind
He was
that.
in floods of tears and stuff like that, so it was quite awkward. He was like, he was trying to strike that balance, make it a bit funny, a bit light-hearted,
Yeah.
a wee bit serious, and he was in floods. It was good.
How was the nerves for that, alright?
Aye, fine. Aye, it was just, I've done a couple of best man speeches before, and it felt just like that, but just a wee bit more.
I was going to ask that.
It was
Venues, you've been a
I've
best
done
man?
a couple, aye.
I have not.
Barry, not even, you know Barry's best man?
I was. Aye, that was on.
you
But
have
it
been
was
a
on
best
St
man?
Lucia. Aye, but no getting up and
The end of the speech.
no, really. No,
Aye.
because it was just it was a small wedding, so I just remember it up in a kind of balcony.
Does Bob look nice in his dress?
Bob wasn't there. Actually, Bob wasn't there. It was just family. To be honest, it was quite a small wedding. So it was, but although I was the best man, but there was no best man speech or anything.
No.
Have you been best man?
My brother's
You must
best
have.
man.
I bet
We were a groomsmen at the same wedding,
That's
Jack
right.
and Megan, Gordon's sister.
He was a groomsman at my sister's wedding, a little known
Your head
fact.
brother-in-law always gets me in trouble, mate.
I think
Very
it
similar,
might be the
I
other.
think,
See, he says it's the other way around as well. I was up at my sister's on Tuesday and they two had been out on the Sunday.
That was the Manchester United vlog.
Yeah,
So
I saw he was
Slaney
there.
couldn't go, so I was like to Derek, used to patched his.
You're now telling him
I
he was
get a
10th
phone-
choice.
Again,
isn't
Jack
it?
was another
Just
10th
like me,
choice.
It was
yeah.
about Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
I know,
right?
I know.
It's a bit late.
And we'll see he
But I
took the
said to him,
invite
I'm
at
working
that
at this,
time.
Jack, so like, can't really have much. I'm going to bring 4 Fosters just as part of the sketch. And then we'll start drinking after I've done the videos, mate. He turns up with 10 cans, a pint, Stella, see by 12 o'clock, mate, me and him were like that on the train. Cameraman as well, absolutely.
I'm staying out of that. My mum and sister will be on this as soon as this airs. I'll be getting phone calls, so I'm just.
But I'm a friend of the family. Me and his mum got on famously.
I've got a
Probably
video.
too well at
I've got a video of him and my gran singing "Gimme, Gimme, Gimme" by ABBA in my mum's house.
I thought your grand would be a better kissing than what she is.
She's getting a bit. She's getting
Yeah,
a
but
little
Wayne
bit.
Rooney, you.
What did you say?
Wayne Rooney. Earlier, innit?
How long can I leave it before I demand that a bit gets cut out? 'Cause
Anytime you want.
I were approaching that.
Kev does it every week, doesn't he? Kev will say something like that.
Take that out.
Take that out.
We're getting
Oh,
it.
we are so much more on a football show, so what about the weather, man?
Nah, no.
Oh,
I know it's a lowest form of conversation, but holy fuck.
I know.
World's
It's if
coming
it-
to end, innit?
it's if a bomb's just exploded. Well, where I stay.
I don't want to hear like, a chat about global warming again. It's not hanging anymore, is it, in Glasgow? I just feel it's getting colder every year.
You must have been worried that
I was worried, mate.
I was saying to God, what were you doing 12 o'clock last night? I was out wrestling with a gazebo out the back garden, by the way. Big steel
what?
hang.
Is that what you're calling Carol now?
It's good. By the way, 2-3 doors down, roof, a kind of extension roof right off.
Was it?
Aye, the other side hit a motor and all that. Aye, I was at 12 o'clock down the bottom of the shed, pulling out weights, the boys' weights and all that, and trying to weigh the gazebo down and that. It was absolutely, I get smacked in the head about 12:30. I don't know, I think it was some daft pigeon was out and about. Then I'm standing out the back garden, big oak trees, big massive things like all the shit, and then you start going, what happens to all the wee birds and squirrels and all that? Man, you must be getting an absolute doing in that
David
tree.
Attenborough here. This is
What about you?
magnificent.
He's got a big, massive house.
Oh, aye.
No. Trampoline though. Got a 3-year-old, so there's a trampoline. That's
that
like
been
prime.
tipped?
It's a few times. It's me and the trampoline have been having a bit of
A row of
bit
it.
of aye this winter. So two slabs on it last night, taking absolutely no chances. Taped the that's the saddest old man thing I've ever done. Taped the letterbox shut. 'Cause it was doing my head in. I was
That's it, you
sitting
know, you're
like
getting
flat
angry,
up. Sitting. I was sitting trying to watch telly and it was just flat. And I thought, but I'm asking tape will sort that.
I was surprised the amount of games that actually were on this
know.
weekend.
I know.
Well, see, yesterday I was at Celtic Park. You were there as well, but you were in the nice.
brutal.
You were in the
But you
nice
can
bit.
tell.
Weather seems to
Eh,
tell
aye,
you, was it?
and
Seems to
you
He still wore the same outfit, I take it, if he went as well
kept
yesterday.
it on. At any other ground, how bad would that have been?
Yeah.
But see, because you were kind of like enclosed in the bowl. No, you're right. I think surprised so
What's
many.
the storm called? What's this one called, you know?
Isha.
You sure?
You sure? What is that after?
They just go through the alphabet, don't they?
Oh, is
Right,
it?
hangs up.
So it's the
is
next
that-
one will be
It
given
used to
away.
be Kev's arse.
A lady.
Storm Kev's arse, innit? I think that was appropriate
Kevin
for
Kyle
that.
would be a classic,
It's
wasn't it?
Kevin Kyle.
There's another one tonight, another weather one.
Is there, mate?
Aye.
I can't put up with it.
Nah, listen, I normally
Gives me
like
the
that.
fear, mate.
Aye, didn't enjoy that last night. It was a nightmare. So it was. And I get no help from my boy who was upstairs,
I know what he was
just
doing.
sleeping away.
No, he wasn't.
Aye. Old Dan boy. No help whatsoever.
Just yourself.
He's old out the back, struggling away. No problem.
Right, big news of the week. Andy Halliday
Yes.
signs for
I was
Motherwell.
there. I
Unbelievable.
was there for his debut.
Unbelievable.
I know. Thanks very much. There, I appreciate that, mate.
Right.
Off his own back, I know I wasn't even working.
So
Oh, did you, mate? You just paid in?
Paid in, aye.
Did you really?
that was what. But I did get up and give my standing ovation, even though I was working.
In the press
There
box.
you go.
Right, I want to ask him because I know for a fact there's a few other clubs interested. Why Motherwell? What was the pull?
Few reasons, but I think the big one was Liam Kelly was on the phone a fair bit. Obviously trying to sell me the team, but then when I spoke to the manager, to be fair, I thought the manager spoke really well. You'll probably admit more than any that I've sort of spoke up for Motherwell in terms of how they play. I can see what the manager's trying to do, and that conversation I had with him sort of reaffirmed that, and it was one of the ones. I think you get a good feeling about clubs, don't you, when you come off the phone and listen. The other teams and managers I spoke to are people I respect highly. I'm not going to say them, but you know a couple of them. I do really respect them, but I just think that sort of conversation I had with the manager sort of.
He's
I had my
impressive, isn't he,
mindset after
Kettle?
That he
Very.
talks well, aye. He's like so like he's very slick with it, and I didn't, cause I hadn't really spoke to him at all until the summer when we did some stuff, and he was great. He let us, it was first guy, he let us get in his car and got up to training with him and film all sorts kind of access all areas sort of thing, let us in the office, and he was good. But I mean, he told me about 10 days before he signed, I'm signing for Motherwell, don't tell anybody. That's brilliant, telling that to a journalist, that was good, wasn't it? I'm
desperate to tell him.
yeah, I do here, because then he's going to know if he's going to know it comes for me
Of course.
every day. I'm
No, he's top drawer Kettlewell, isn't he?
He's good, mate.
I've met him a couple of times when he was working.
he did punditry, didn't he?
Aye, and he was good at that as well.
Yeah.
But I just think the way he addresses the media, I think he's somebody. I think that's like when you speak to him, you'd want to play for him.
For him, yeah.
I think that's what, see, when things have been going bad in the run of results, I think obviously, right, results driven business, but everybody that I've spoke to that plays, like, speaks really highly of him, and you feel like you don't need to take that into account. You know, like, it's not like as soon as you go on an X amount of game winless run, you know, you need to always sack the manager, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
sometimes teams might not be having the manager. That cliche about losing the dressing room, but never really felt
Nah,
like
you
that.
can always see the players are
Aye.
playing for him, can't you? Well, I take it apart as well because we played him in a friendly 2 days before he signed.
Aye. No, you nearly killed him,
Says
move.
he's what, you want an extra 50 quid a week?
Look, you nearly killed him because he battered you 7-0. He's like, we might not need any players.
Midfielders are unbelievable. I said, lads, just leave the midfielders on the ball. But I went like that to him about Andy, went fits the profile. And then I tried to get Greg a move. I says, what about Greg Stewart? Does he fit the profile? I says, no, we've got someone at the club already fits that profile, Tam Cowan. Same size, isn't it? He's like, I wanted to play a fat bastard, I just played Tam Cowan. Mate. Be brilliant on this, wouldn't he?
It was really
I
good,
listened
aye.
to that actually driving back for Lennoxtown the other day, did I? He was good.
Stuart Finlay story is...
Aye, it was
I
good.
didn't see it, wasn't he?
Did you not see it?
I've not saw it yet.
Brilliant.
It was brilliant.
He'll do well there, won't he?
Kelly.
Aye, and I didn't want to bum him up too much while he was sitting there, but Greg's a proper good fit up with a brilliant trainer. Because he sees as much as he talks he's doing in terms of laziness and that, seen training, he's not at all.
No.
He's not at all. He's just got that sort of body profile where you think, he can't run. But he can, he grafts. And I think, well, I spoke to him, he'll probably not mind me telling him now, I spoke to him on the show. And he told me he was meeting Derek McInnes tomorrow. And I went, what, you're signing with Kelly?
Kelly, yeah.
I said, you meet Derek, you're signing with him. You played with him, this is the third or fourth time now.
Yeah.
And they were like that, you sit down and have a conversation with him, that's where you're going, and funny enough, that's where it was. But I think it's a good fit for both teams, he's been there before as well. So
And take your friendship hat off, genuinely pleased with it as a signing as a Motherwell fan.
My mates are raging though, because he's like pantomime villain a bit, isn't he?
Why
I
is
was
that?
getting just-
I know,
Was he-
I don't get
Because he
it, mate.
played with Rangers, that's what it is.
Is it?
One of my mates texted me saying he's never gone back. I had to phone him, talk him down. Honestly, I'm never going back. I'm never going back.
How was there a rival there, Motherwell and Rangers?
No.
It's what it's like. Seeing you're a wee team, you get a kind of that siege mentality. You just want to be. You just don't like
Gordon.
anything to do with Rangers
Gordon,
and
think
Celtic.
about, go way back a wee bit. David Cooper left Rangers, went to Motherwell, won the Scottish Cup. Motherwell fans loved him, didn't they?
I'm only half
So-
kidding. I mean, there was one guy that said he wasn't going back, but no,
I don't mind
yeah,
that.
he's it'll be good. I think they needed like bodies anyway, experience for sure. And obviously, like you try and put your personal feelings aside, like you say, it's not been great. We have a bit of a laugh about your bench cam and all that sort of stuff, but it's good to see. Hopefully, get a bit more game time, and I'm a kind of medium, so if there's any training gear that you want to fire over my way,
No problem at all.
What? Where do you see him fitting in Motherwell?
I tell you what he's going to be, even what an influence he's going to be within the club with a young guy. I mean, we're talking about it before.
Maybe Lennon Miller's mentor.
Lennon Miller, you know, and we for a far
Pressure
look.
that, innit, being Lennon Miller's mentor.
When he's better than you.
He's been doing
Chance you
great,
got.
man. Imagine just shite now for the rest of the season. Play like that.
But we watch him, we think that's a top player. He's been in the door a couple of days and he's raving about him already. So the guy's going to go a long way, but he's probably got a part to play in his development as well over the course of the next year or two. But I think even in the middle of the park at times when you need somebody that wee bit of experience that's been there, done it, because you look at those Ghent, Peyton in the middle of the park the other day, they were a wee bit kind of, I was going to say hear 'em, scare 'em, you know, they're all over the place. Sometimes you need somebody that kind of just
Cool head.
steady, you know, take the ball, calm the situation.
I thought he was going to sack it when he heard that Mika Bira had left. I thought that was going to be the bit.
A bit of a blow for
He'd have liked putting it on a plate for him.
By the way, it seems like a perfect match, because his dad does the transplants as well, doesn't he? Big Lee.
Does he?
Cut my hair.
He does it.
He does it,
The
aye,
old wigs.
he does
I
it,
played
so-
with Lee. That's what I said. That's when you know you're old, innit?
Aye.
You've gone into a changing room, you've played with
That's
teammates.
scary.
Damn, man.
He cut my hair 2 hours ago.
Did he?
It's perfect for this
Gives a wee
podcast.
Gives a wee turn
You're gonna-
just so we can see the back
So
and that. as
you're
well,
judging
please.
his job rather than
Yeah,
my head.
yeah.
There's a few greys in there, the way. Can you see them?
No bad.
Trying to get him to.
Mate, do you know what? Great guy.
Lee Miller's a great,
Yeah.
Great
player.
guy,
as well.
aye.
player.
Good player.
His
Even he's played the Falkirk when he's like 30,
aye,
he was
but
still
his
really
boy's
good.
an even better player. His boy's going right to the top.
Is he? Is that?
Sure.
Do you agree?
I mean, you don't want to put too much pressure on. He's 17. People forget his age. And obviously, at the start of the season, he was 16. But you can tell, like, I always just think sometimes young boys stands out when they just do the basics so well, and I think that's what he does.
Sorry.
But see, in terms of the actual quality in the squad, I'm not just saying this, it's good. And the dressing room is, I've only been in 2-3 days, but it's a brilliant dressing room. It really is. You can see how tight knit they are. And already, I'm enjoying it, so I'm looking forward to it.
They're not the same team without Miller.
No, they've not.
I mean, you watched them at the start of the season, they got that injury. They took a wee kind of downward spiral. And it just shows you at times when you're missing your better players, your best players. So that tells you everything about the young man. But he's going to help him, as I say. They need that in there as well.
He doesn't talk very much, and you never shut up.
I
so
know, it's a perfect blend. I'll bring it out of him.
Meet in
Can
the
you
middle.
still smell Slaney about the place?
Mate, do you know what?
Is there any touches of Slaney
It's
still there?
genuinely, I'm no joking, the first thing I thought of was,
That mad bastard.
I'm going to follow in that young man's footsteps.
That was a big part of the reason you went,
I
wasn't it?
hope I make him proud, because listen, he tells us all the time he got them a new pitch, didn't he? So what can I leave Motherwell when at the time I leave? I need to emulate that. Was
What
really
about the
hard.
pitch? I normally walk up these stairs before I head up to where I'm sitting and I'm working.
I think you're meant to be there, mate.
The park was a bit rough.
Because of them, mate, on the Tuesday
we were
playing
fucking
on it.
high.
Is that what it was?
Mate,
They
we were
chopped
fucking
up on
shit.
Tuesday.
It's gonna be you.
That's the first time anybody's actually passed the ball. That's why it's fucked.
Immaculate. And then I walked up and get a wee shock in my life. I went like, that's no.
The pitch has been really good this year, though.
He got Groundsman of the Year, didn't he?
Always
Right?
is.
Saying that, recently got Groundsman of the Year.
I
He
think
usually gets it.
It's been brilliant. I think, to be fair, they're all up. See Celtic
It just
Park
looked a wee
yesterday.
bit-
How bad was Celtic Park
The
yesterday?
country's just been absolutely
Because of the-
battered with the weather this week, and like you said, Celtic Park didn't look great.
It's just, you're that used to seeing it in absolutely pristine.
Tell you what, it's better than Barton's though. What
Oh, fuck.
I know.
What about we're playing it
guess
tonight?
who's put it than Barton tomorrow?
I think it's going to be off. Mate.
Oh, you're joking.
I think it's gonna
I'm
be-
going to that as well.
We'll try to move it to Wednesday, but we're not.
By the way, I think you're a wee bit spoiled. See, that's the parts that we used to play in. They used to actually be worse
I know,
than
but the
that.
standard
aye.
is shite, mate. You always say the standard.
Oh,
I
you
watched some
couldn't.
of the video.
Go and watch the games, by the way.
It's like a pub game.
Away you go. Go and take your face for a shite.
There's a crash in Motherwell now, isn't there? They put Slaney's face above the fireplace so the kids couldn't. That's a.
Can I tell you something though? See, when I was at Rangers, I used to bam up John Gregg something rotten every Saturday about the standard of the old football. And I was obviously joking with him, but he used to be raging.
Aye.
And he used to say, like, what you think Di Stefano was a bad player? I was like, aye, can he run? Can he run?
Odd pot bellies and what, mate.
Imagine Van Dijk playing centre half in the 50s and the
Scroll
60s.
it,
I see that Richard Gough, Big Terry Butcher and all that.
Aye.
We do need to say you have left Hearts after 3.5 years. Some great memories there, mate. What stands out winning the championship?
I think individually would probably be that derby, I think.
Oh, of course, the 2 goals.
But listen, again, my opinion hasn't changed for now than it did to the start of the season. I love my time at Hearts. Me and you have spoken about it plenty of times. It's a brilliant club, it really is. It's well run, fan owned, the structure within the place. And obviously this year's been a difficult year for me, but that's what happens in football. That's why I've wanted to try and get away in January and get someone else to sort of feel a part of it again. But no, I've no bitterness whatsoever towards the club. Great boys as well, and I hope they still do well.
Never forget that debut, mate, watching you on the telly, Arbroath away.
My debut.
Was that not the first game of the season?
Oh,
It was early, wasn't
I
it?
think it
what's
might
your
be
debut, mate?
my first league game. Aye.
Friday night.
Fucking hell, man.
Was it a night? Aye, would
They
have been on the
fans,
telly.
wind like this, pitch brutal. Oh man,
That is horrendous.
horrible. Aye.
But then to the highs, that Hibs game was incredible. I remember watching it on the telly, actually
Aye.
buzzing for you, mate.
And
Two
aye.
great finishes as well.
Aye, listen, I'm talking about what was the sort of selling point for Motherwell. I remember the first conversation I had with Robbie Nielsen, and he never once spoke about going up that year. He spoke about next year we want to be third in the league. That was the first thing he said to me. So straight away I'm like, that's where you want to be. You want to be competing at the top and getting in European spots and win the championship, getting third in the league, fourth the next year in Europe, 2 Scottish Cup finals. So I had good times over the
I watched it back though, and the thing that ruins it is you did the Alfredo Morelos celebration.
No, that's what made
Did
it.
he done that?
Aye, slid knee slide
fat
that.
neck,
second
wasn't
goal.
That's what I was like.
For the second goal.
That's what made it.
ruins
Aye.
Why did you do that?
So you see that?
I honestly don't
you when they win the league,
No,
innit?
I honestly don't really know, but I know this sounds dead stupid, but Hibs fans, every fan, or all fans hate me, right? But Hibs fans hated Alfredo Morelos. I'm talking about hated. Remember they used to sort of paint the old Portis Morelos thing?
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of in my head a wee bit. And they'd been singing my name just before because I ballooned one out of the bar. Like about 5 minutes before they were singing my name, then I scored the first. And I could have done a lot worse. The amount they sing my name, think what other people would have done if they scored a goal. Nah, I chose to do that.
He done well, didn't he, Hearts?
But it just looked like one you'd practiced if you
I
asked
never
me.
though, honestly, I never.
It was,
I never. It just came to me.
Just again what they needed at that time. I mean, getting out of they didn't play smooth, silky football in the championship. They
That's why it
they were
suited him,
they were getting criticised for it, weren't it? They were getting criticised about the kind of pace.
I remember the January, February period we had a poor run.
But you were winning games. You know, sometimes it's nice to win it with style. But he was phenomenal. And again, just what he says, and that's why we spoke to each other. So when you go to a club like Hearts, you feel it right away, and it's a you want to play for them. There's just something about it. Being at Tynecastle, it gets under your skin.
It's a brilliant stadium. It's still my favourite stadium to play at.
That's great.
Is it?
Aye, 100%.
What, over Ibrox?
Easy.
No, but I'm talking, when I was at Rangers, my favourite stadium to play at was at Tynecastle.
Exactly.
When I'm at Hearts, it's not my favourite stadium to play at because you always pick away grounds.
Yeah.
But I think structurally it's the best stadium in the league because it's so compact. The atmosphere, like you generate just a brilliant atmosphere. And I like
Great
the club. Obviously, everyone's in top Ian. That's what it is. Isn't it?
Oh, you like
That's my favourite. That's my favourite.
Even when I went, you got me a couple of tickets for the game, sat with your mum and dad, even just the staff there and everyone is so helpful.
Brilliant.
So nice,
What was the game again?
Dundee United, big Charlie played. Remember, big.
Somebody got sent off
didn't he?
when they.
They were
that
actually-
was on me. That was on
That
me.
was on
wasn't
you,
it?
that's right.
Do you know what I remember?
That was the
about
biggest
game?
cheer of the day when he
Aye,
smashed
I
you.
know. Do you know what I remember about that game? We won the game, but how good Stephen Fletcher was that year? Do you remember?
Him
It was
and Paul
unbelievable.
played off him, really good. And
That was good club. but
and a good time in your career, though, mate.
Huh?
And now what? Just keep Motherwell up? Was that the aim?
Oh, listen,
Just to keep them up.
I
think
always
they're
think
better.
bad run, mate.
I
for
better
any
than
clubs is win a game on a Saturday. What's the point of thinking about aims towards the end of the season? Win 3 points on Saturday. By the end of the season, the league table takes care of itself. But see, you look so. By the way,
Are you
it's
planning
so
for the life
tight.
and management of that sort of cliche answer?
Ah, is it
I
cliche?
still, I always think
Fucking
that.
What is it for a Motherwell fan? What is it?
I think now, obviously, is,
Staying up.
to be honest, looking just a bit of safety first, because you always kind of look at like Livy look like they're toiling, but the others you're not so sure. I mean, to be fair, St Johnstone, Ross County, bad cup results, but then they've shown wee signs of life in the league as well, haven't they? So maybe looking forward to getting kind of back into a run of games and see where it settles itself down. It needs to be. So
No one's really put a consistent run together outside the Old Firm and Hearts and even St Mirren towards the sort of start of the season when they went on the wee run, but no one's really had that consistent run every day. I just think that's
But all other teams just know that Derek Adams is like 2 games away from a meltdown. It's just buzzing, mate.
incredible.
2 games.
We're going to come and win a
I
bit.
just think they're better than that, just surviving Motherwell. And it's
I know,
just
but they've not shown that, Derek, as a result.
But they have in terms of the performances early on in the season. I know that results didn't quite go their way, but I just think if they can get a wee bit more confidence, you could see that on Saturday against Alloa. You know, they just need that wee done. They just get them going, and I think, and again, it's under Kettlewell. I think he's a big factor. I think he'll get them going. I don't think they'll have any problem surviving.
Right, we're going to go on to Hearts. Bad news always seems to follow good news. Obviously, the good news when Andy left. The bad news, Shanklin never played, set to done down a contract offer. Does it look like he's going to leave? Gordon, you've been involved in this for...
Listen, there's only one man here that can tell us if he's actually ill or not. Come on, give us the exclusive.
Well, I don't, because I wasn't in the building, so...
And neither was he, apparently.
What was my last day's training?
The other thing...
Tuesday. He was training on Tuesday.
Full of beans, you said he was.
Oh, he was full of beans, all right.
It means he's no cup tied as well.
See, that's the cynic. That's the cynical answer, innit? That is the cynical
That's him with your Rangers
But
jacket
see,
on.
because it has been that break, there's been so much chat about Lawrence Shanklin, like, where's he gone, because he's a form striker in the league now, and then obviously this is just going to accelerate any type of rumours. But I've not changed my opinion. I think it's going to take a big fee. I think Hearts would be mad to let him go for anything less than the sort of money that's been reported, because you get Europe, you're guaranteeing the club, what is it, 68 million or something like that. Your chances are severely diminished if you lose Lawrence Shanklin's goals.
But see, on the back of that, see if a player is just adamant that he wants away, is there any point in waiting about?
Do you think he's that type though?
That's a different story, but I've not seen that, mate. I've no.
He'll know, obviously, I don't, but he'll know better. And then it's January as well. Like, it doesn't. People keep saying about last big contract. Do you think there's surely something over there from in the summer, no?
But
if it needed it to be, do you know what I mean?
But I think, like you're saying, I don't think he's going to be one where he's knocking the door down saying, I want away. Listen, Rangers are a big club, or Celtic are a big club. If it's these clubs that are going to come in and financially they're going to make a difference in his life 100%, but I know he's happy at Hearts.
But if you are a boy who's Rangers fan, mate, you might only get one opportunity to go to the club you support. Is it too good to turn down?
I think you need to look at it so many different ways though, mate. Like, see if he keeps doing what he's doing now, he's going to the Euros 100%. Yeah. Just say, for talk's sake, that he goes to Rangers, right, and he's battling for number 9 with Dessers.
He's not the type that'll think like that, boy.
But I'm just saying in general, he's battling with Dessers, Fabio Silva, and he's still at that position, right, for talk's sake. Does that increase his chance of going to Euros? Does that make it less?
But you can also go there, be the main striker and be Scotland's main striker.
If Rangers sign him, he plays. It's as simple as that.
If it was fucking Ali McCoy I was looking at competing against, but if it's Dessers, mate, I'm thinking I'm going there and playing there.
I mean, look at Dessers in Saturday night. You know, I know he scores, but look at the chances he missed.
He could have scored a few, couldn't he?
He could have scored about 4 or 5 easy. Shanklin, you give him Shanklin the chances. What are we talking about? Shanklin puts 3-4 of them away.
Listen, if Rangers pay what Hearts want, they'll get him.
I know.
But I
don't think the money's there. I don't think Rangers have got the money.
But that's the other thing. Well, now what are we?
Funds.
10 days to go.
Aye.
Hearts chief exec saying there's no interest. Stephen A. Smith says none. So maybe.
Right. So
just gonna
give us a prediction now. Will he beat Hearts at the end of the window?
I think so. Because I think, as Andy says, like, even if I can't see the. So what is it? It's about £6 million to finish third. You're going to finish third without him. I wouldn't have thought so. No offence to your other former teammates, but
well, if you take away his goals right now, they would have been third.
Yeah. So what are you selling him for? As you say, I mean, there is obviously a possibility that players can always, make life difficult, but it doesn't really strike. I don't feel like that's right now. January, he'd need to do that.
And I think he really had a tough time over in Belgium to then go into Hearts and loving his football again. So, and you know how much that plays a part as well. It's not as if I can't see it. Listen, in the summer, I think we're talking about a completely different scenario. He's in his last year at Hearts. Again, the fee will still be a good enough fee, but I think he'll be a Hearts player.
But then we've just spoke about when you go to Hearts. You know, how we felt when we were at Hearts. Yeah. I enjoyed my time, obviously. Andy did. That's what maybe Shanklin, maybe that could be it. But if they no offered them something, but no quite as much as what he was looking for, but then there's still a wee bit to go in there. But I mean, would I love him in the Rangers jersey? Of course I would.
So do you think he'll be there, end of the window?
At the minute, no. To be honest with you, because it looks as if they've not got the funds. And I think if he was, I think he would have. I don't think they've made even an inquiry. Would you have tested the water a wee bit, and threw in maybe kind of a couple other players as well, maybe that Naismith might be interested in. It doesn't look as if it's going to happen, but
surely they'll try and sign
well, by the way, they're talking about signing a midfielder, aren't they? And I'm kind of a wee bit perplexed about that, because I think we've got enough in that area, but you need a goal scorer, simple as. Silva isn't a goal scorer. Nah. You can see the way he plays. He likes to drop into the hole and into wide areas. Desert's not going to cut it from now to the end of the season, so they need they need
a strike.
What do you think Fabio Silva thought rocking up at Dumbarton?
That's one of them in the age, isn't it?
£35 million as a teenager. He can't ever have been anywhere like that in his life before.
I'm getting flashbacks of somebody signing and their debut being at
Roy
an
Keane at Clyde,
absolute
mate.
shithole.
Aye, well, that's the
But I think
January,
when I was
like,
Rangers, and I
January
remember saying to them
risky
beforehand,
because
don't
of the
worry,
cup.
like every week's not going to be like this. Like you've had a tough opening day. Who was it again?
Last time we did that to me on the way to Falkirk, play Falkirk Reserves, never forget it. How the fuck have I went from San Siro to the Fourth Bank fucking stadium? Oh, it must be a culture shock, innit?
But that was, I mean, the weather at that Dumbarton game, you could hardly see
know.
it, could you?
I think the camera, they need to work on their...
It was just raindrops or the camera.
See, I've got sympathy for him because he just like, see if you think about it, what do you do?
I know.
What
You
do
can't
you do?
just keep constantly wiping the
So
camera.
if you noticed, every time it cut to a different camera, it would come back and it was magically clear again because he's up taking 2 seconds to wipe it.
What about
But it was
Kenny
a
and Michael?
disaster.
They were absolutely soaked and freezing.
But Kenny went for the sort of woolen coat, didn't he?
I
never
wasn't
loved
that.
him
I
over
wouldn't have went for
That's
that.
just
That was
no,
the kind
you
of-
need a waterproof option.
That reminds
there,
me a wee
surely.
bit of you. I remember I was working down at Kelly.
I forgot a jacket one day at Kelly. How do you remember
You
that?
way back in the day because I saw you walking in, right?
Oh, he's a man,
And I
isn't
went
he? He's
like
a
this,
man.
I'm sitting up the back there,
Sorry.
and I went, I said,
Right.
he works with Clyde. I went, God, he looks $1 million, by the way.
No
No he was
jacket.
getting straight out on the Saturday night. But this wee Jaco, was it -3
That's
in
the
the
only
wind?
time I've ever done that and I just forgot it. I just did it.
So anyway, I forgot all about it, you know, and you're into the game, you're enjoying the game, and then right at the end when you're doing your wee reporting, and I saw you getting up, and I saw you type a
remember
film,
that.
I'm like, I didn't even, you were like that walking away. I was like,
By the way, what a memory for it.
I was sitting up the back.
That's about 10 years ago.
I had my heater on and everything, and all that, and my big
Right,
jacket.
thank you, fancy giving me the heater.
That was that back
Honestly,
in the early days.
player.
That's a rookie mistake.
Can you
innit?
remember how
Just one of
cold you
them.
were?
Just one of them like went in the boot. Jacket's not there. I just thought it was. Like, what do you do?
Schoolboy.
Thought we were asking for one of the subs jackets.
jackets,
It was
yeah.
bolted.
Which is funny. Maybe that is a lesson
If you
learned.
came for Hearts, you would have got, you'd have given his jacket.
I
No
think-
danger. Now I'll leave nothing to chance. I've got the heated body warmer now, so
have you
do you want to
tried
charge
Gary
it right
Neville?
before like
I
unbelievable.
thought the other thing, I went, oh, he's a hardy bastard.
No,
By the way. I went like that.
just a foolish mistake. Aye, I remember it.
Just on transfer deadline day, Gordon, you worked, have you done transfer deadline day? There's Clyde or Sky?
Aye, but it's, you know what it's like the last couple of years, you kind of build it up to be this big amazing
not
thing,
as
and
manic as it was
it's just
back
not.
then,
No,
yeah.
it's not. And like, and I can't even remember the player. It's like, right, go to the Blythewood and sit outside and see if this player comes out the Blythewood, and then it was like just sitting there now. Right, okay, go to the airport, see if this plane's arriving. Like sitting looking at the arrivals board.
Well, you need
It's
to go and
never-
just sit and watch the
that was the last couple. I honestly can't even remember who it was that would have been coming in. That shows
Was
you.
Ramsey deadline day last year? No.
He was a deadline day, so I obviously get the Scuddy job, so like it was the ones that weren't that exciting. I remember Lee Griffiths signed for Dundee, and that was as exciting as it got that day, and it was like, right, quick, get to Dundee, as if like you can just do that in 2 seconds. And then you're driving up and they're like, but it's deadline day, so it needs to be, you know, it's busy, so it needs to be short. So honestly, went to Dundee and the interview was like a minute.
With Lee Griffiths?
Aye, because if it's any longer, you know, do the whole sort of me talking, then camera turns to him, a couple of questions. But if you do that for 4 or 5 minutes, it's too long. It won't. So
Yeah,
drove to Dundee, and honestly, it was like a 60-second interview.
I don't want to kill it.
Back down.
I reckon this year will be rammed.
Do you?
Do you?
Aye,
Up here?
definitely.
Well, what
No, up here.
Well, I think everyone coming into this window thought Rangers will sign 4 or 5, Celtic will sign 4 or 5 because Rodgers has said he wants 4, and you just feel as if Rangers need bodies. Rangers have only signed 1, Celtic have only signed 1. Listen, it
And
looks
what
as
if
if
you just
Rangers are
can't
going to
get
get
them?
second and out,
What if you
but
just can't get them? Sometimes it is disappointing.
I would be amazed if both clubs don't bring it at least another couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Ange was
a
too boring,
34-man squad.
Ange just did. He'd them all lined up
Aye.
before, didn't he?
December.
Early doors.
Had
mate.
Tati,
Done the same
for
with
the
Spurs
season,
again,
that
innit?
was
Alistair
so
Johnson
boring.
was done beforehand, wasn't he?
There's no sense of drama there. We can't be
No.
having that at all.
I think it'll be busy this year.
So you do that 60-second interview, you just drive back to your house.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's graft, mate.
You get paid good
That's
dope for
putting
that,
it in.
don't it?
Aye.
Aye, but the pay helps, doesn't it?
By the way, see if you want a busy
It's not
transfer.
doing it for free, is it?
It's not a real job either, is it? Let's be
See if
honest.
Sky want a busy transfer deadline day. Get
He's
East
got
Kilbride.
right, We've still got 10 more coming in.
5 or 6 like that.
By
Switching
the way,
in
I
a
can't
day.
believe you've
Why,
just
okay.
said that. What? It's not a real job. You've got to say it is a real job. Because I get
some
that for
people
the
work
boys.
for a
and-
living.
Aye. Everybody thinks I don't do a real job when you're
It's a
going out and-
privilege.
Aye. There's a bit of graft in there.
When do you
What
get-
draft do you do for us?
That just,
He was here before you,
Listen,
to be fair.
this is
I was only like because he said
I'll
he
be
was
honest
going
with
to be
you.
like me. I'd have been
This
here
is
on
like
time.
therapy to me. I
Is it,
like
mate?
it. Aye, I need
Is there
this.
any off your chest?
Air everything out. I agree,
innit?
mate.
This
You
is
had any
what
pet
this is
peeves
like.
so far in the new year? Anything that's got on your nerves at the start of the year?
Anybody?
Not anything.
No, you shouldn't say anybody. Let's see who wants to
My
big
family,
out.
did
Just
you
a
not?
pet peeve.
I stopped Christmas on the 14th of January and they weren't happy with me.
Oh, you kept going, did you?
Aye.
Enjoy yourself, mate.
Of course you have when you've got all the food and chocolates and drink all kicking about.
It's the cheese boards,
You've got
innit?
to keep it going.
Love
They
them,
hang
man.
about for days.
Love them.
Aye. So I've been getting a wee bit for the family and that. So that's
You've
what
worked hard, you've
on the
worked
street
hard
and
for your
that.
days, mate.
What's
This is the
annoying
time to
you?
enjoy yourself.
What's your pet peeve of the new year?
The new year, that we've still got VAR. I enjoyed the game on Saturday because it was no VAR.
right.
And I tell you what, Beaton had a good game as well. I just enjoyed
Correct
it.
me if I'm wrong, but I don't really remember much
Not- I
contentious decisions for the non-VAR games.
Aye, but there would be.
I think there was a lot
they'll
of
drag
complaints about
something up. They'll drag something up,
the
Andy.
Celtic one where
The offside
was
and
it
then
Taylor
the
was
penalty.
offside and there was a 2.5 minute check and
Oh, they would find
Rodgers
something.
knew what he was doing
They'll try and
yesterday,
find
didn't he?
something.
Aye,
Oh,
the
man,
Rodgers
he's not
one.
daft.
So
Yeah.
I was in the press conference and he kind of, I could see it coming a mile away. I thought he's working up
that
to
was
this.
prepped, wasn't it?
He's been working right up to it, and he says if the off, what was it? If the
Was it?
what way round it was.
Does it matter if it's already offside or something?
I mean,
like
if it's
that?
off, if it's offside, the penalty doesn't matter.
Aye.
Is that before or after he beat Bucky 1,000?
And he did. It was his pause was perfect, dramatic
Aye.
pause.
Before or after he been in the Bucky dressing room?
Presumably after he went in and gave a wee speech, didn't he?
What a guy. Some man. You got any pet peeves?
My new one's people that talk at an inappropriate volume or at inappropriate content in the sauna. Very specific.
Wow.
Aye, you'll be
you're
sorry.
basically
You'll be
listening to
sorry.
the
You asked,
conversation.
and I can't help it.
Have you got an example?
I know
That's a
what
place
sauna
for
that
an,
is.
that's a place for an indoor voice, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So seeing people come in and then
I don't mind that.
and then they start like sharing their like grievances. Like last week, somebody was talking about how like all the wars that are going on all over the world, and how and he's going, I've never seen anything like it. Just so many conflicts. Like and the two
You're
of them.
forward then, is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, it's a complicated question, but just loud.
Aye.
It's more the volume rather than anything. Like the topics I can come and go with, but like I just feel like it's meant to be a relaxing space.
I've got a huge one that I had at the weekend. I'm not going to name a restaurant because I love it.
I know exactly what one you're talking about.
After the game, yeah, I think you do. After the game, I went to pick up my takeaway for this restaurant, and the guy says to me, "Remember Saturday night, pissing a rain, and you need to, this is only a wee small place, so you need to stand outside in the rain waiting for the takeaway." And the guy was like, "It'll be 15 minutes, mate." I was like, "Don't worry, I'll wait." If any longer than 15 minutes, I'm going sitting in the car. It was 30 minutes.
That's
I hate that
Can I
pet
go
peeve.
back?
See if it's going to be 30 minutes, just tell me it'll be 30 minutes. No worries, I'll go and sit in my car.
But mate, what is it, pasta? How the fuck's pasta?
But if I say what type it is, it's no. You're going to know.
But it's still pasta, innit?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, right.
Right, it was a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, I know exactly.
I know what you're talking about.
But I love the restaurant and the people in it are brilliant. But just tell me it's going to be 30 minutes, man.
Do you know there's a cafe in the town where people pay to eat with cats walking about the floor?
what?
That fucking blows my mind, mate. What
Aye.
kind of psychopath's doing that?
Aye.
So you eat, mate. You booking it again? I'm not
But by
saying
the way, you can go the other way.
Oh,
You
I
can
actually do
take
know what that is. Oh, no,
you can
you're
take
right.
somebody that doesn't like cats and take them in. See, I'm taking you out for a wee bite to eat. Imagine that.
I
somebody's
hate
got a-
cats, mate.
Huh? Do
I
you?
hate cats.
I'm not a
Fucking
fan
hate
of
them.
Nah, I'm
cats.
a-
Creepy
Love
bastards,
cats.
I
mate.
do. I've got to. Well, I've
Have you?
just got why.
Never
I
expected that
lost.
for you.
Listen, this is a sore point for me. I lost wee Ginger last year.
Who's Slaney?
Jerry Ginger.
He's still here.
Now I've got wee Lucy. Lucy's left. She's 21 now, so she's an old cat.
She's
so
21-year-old. Did you hear
21.
21st?
21. I will be. She makes 20. This year she'll be 21.
21?
You just find it and hangs about him that
I know,
just
that
completely.
surprises me.
Aye.
What is the average life expectancy
Oh,
of a pet cat?
well.
Can't it be more than 21?
In terms of that, she's like a 95, 6-year-old, by the way. She's in the last leg.
96.
But I tell you what, get a wee insight of a cat, right? Once it does its wee bit, as its number 2, right? They go after heat for about 2 minutes. They're skating round the wall and all that. No,
After they're shite.
aye, because there's something that happens to, I don't know exactly all. Right, this is true, but...
Are you watching your
can
cat do
you-
shite and what it does after?
But when she comes out, and
Watch
she's
her go
fucking...
mental, yeah.
and she's running up and down the couch and all that, and you're going, that's amazing that a cat that's probably about 95, 96, man, that a 95-year-old guy, or 96. They're running about like that, you know that. So I sit there and I go, I applaud and I go, that's fucking superb, by the way.
Incredible.
What's
Is it
what's
in the
this
light?
cafe? Like, you could, like,
So you pay, you need to book it, mate, by the way. It's fucking rammed. You go in, you get your food, and while you're eating your food, mate, there's just like fucking 20 cats roaming about.
oh, I'd hate that. We should do that as a forfeit for something.
I'll go.
Oh, mate, I would freak out.
Me
Are
in.
you like
I'll
cats?
actually go, aye.
So there you go, that's my pet peeve. Who the fuck goes there?
Doing a wings challenge in the Cat Cafe.
By the way, Wings chat, how good we need to speak about DL.
Ridiculous,
and
honestly.
genius,
I knew he would do that though, because I know like DL has got a proper stomach problem. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he knows what it is.
I thought that was a load of shite, so that is genuine.
No, he's always taking medication and I don't. I don't even know if he needs that yet, to be honest. I had heard that he nearly died doing it, and I thought this could genuinely tip him over the edge. And then I heard that he said to Mark like the day before it, he just went, "Mum will just patch to me." Do you know that?
He was going to patch Wilson
patch to me, and he's like, "He can't. Like I've promised he'll do it. Like what are you talking about?" And he's like, "Nah, just fuck it, just leave it." That's what he's like. And then I thought, how's he going to manage it? So I actually kind of knew. I knew he would try and stitch something up because he's always doing stuff like that.
He's done him a turn though, didn't you? You could see the actual second and third wings are still hot as well, aren't they? Like the third
funny,
one
eh?
especially.
Well, do you know how Bucks are doing it now? I was at the Celtic game yesterday and but it was boys
for the
came up, mate, I think what they said was that they'd taken the wings challenge and one of their pals nearly passed it. That bloody wings we were in there, Bucks man, yesterday, my pal nearly bloody. I was like, what mate, what are you? And then the boy came up and he's like, mate, I nearly passed it in the toilet with the last wing. But I'm just happy that people can see, because people think they're taking the piss, mate.
You were alright.
I mean, Faddy, we scooshed it.
You were alright.
Aye, we were alright.
But Faddy, which see the one that he like nearly died. Faddy was toiling with that as well.
We had made a wee pact with each other that we weren't going to show any emotion. And what gave it away just at the end was the old eyes. And the nose starts running as well. So, a lot of folk got
Alright, let's get back on the
football. They were surprised at how much DL swore throughout it. That was the regular feedback I got. He was every 2 minutes. He couldn't stop.
He is like that off air though.
I know,
but then
he's got a good job at.
He's had like snooker balls in his mouth though, Gordon Duncan, like a chicken wing. He's done.
He has had a few misdemeanours on air years ago. But
what swearing?
And no, worse than like words that that's the problem with the story, because I've now started.
He done that last week. I noticed that.
Words that I can't repeat here.
Right. Let's get back to football. Honourable mention to Spartans. Spartans. Honourable mention to Spartans.
What a goal.
Saw James Craig playing tennis this morning as well. He's a man of many talents. He was playing tennis against Lee Miller. There you go.
This is bizarre.
I know.
Where would they know each other if
Honestly, I couldn't put it together.
What a goal he scored there.
That was brilliant, eh?
What a finish.
Brilliant.
Hearts got away with one, didn't they? With Big Kent scoring in the last minute.
Yeah.
I think you just
it's a tough place to go, Spartans.
It's different now, the way the jeopardy's not quite there because the extra time, and it's not ideal and it's a bit humiliating, but it's not like that whole game ends then you need to go for the replay, but it still would have been brilliant for them.
And I thought Spartans actually did defend very, very well throughout the game. I thought they restricted Hearts to no too much. Yeah. And I actually thought, because Hearts scored that early goal, I then thought
totally,
3 or 4. They're going to go and wipe the 4 of them now. So I think it's even more impressive that they came back in. Booth has a chance in the first half, and then, like you say, what a finish, man. Yeah. What a finish that is.
Forfar as well, ran Hibs close, couple of chances.
By the way,
how many chances
did they have?
I couldn't believe it when I was
the highlights. I was listening and they were absolutely battering them, weren't they? Aye.
And it's a shame because then the Forfar goalie I thought it was a great penalty save, had a good game, and then he comes for the cross that he's never getting. You could see it in his face, couldn't you? He was gutted.
But that must have been a sickener for them, because listen, you lose to Hibs, there's no disgracing it, but on the balance of the game, they must have felt as if we could have took something with the chances. Yeah. But I thought a lot of teams put up good performances. See, to be fair, even Alloa in the first half, Alloa were decent in the first half.
Mm-hmm. And I thought we were a lot better. It's bad planning for Hibs going for Dubai to Forfar though. I think that's what's done it. It's that culture shock.
Have you been at Forfar's dressing room? We used to train there, mate. Fucking, it's like a gym.
I don't think I've ever played at Forfar.
Oh, it's...
Yeah, Jim Duffy was saying, who was it? Somebody was saying that to me the other night, saying it was, you want to plan your winter break a bit better if you know you're going to Forfar straight after.
Winter breaking, where are we picking? Fraserburgh.
Fraserburgh,
perfect.
What do you always talk up on this show at times? The Championship.
Brilliant.
And you look at the Championship
just going to come out now. Parakis on Airdrie. Great results.
Super.
It's surprised to me that they've beat their teams as well. Haven't seen two of them play this year.
Aye, Airdrie
teams.
Aren't they?
I think the scoreline at Dingwall, that's alarming the way. I don't think, of course it's not that big a shock when there's only a few places between them. But to win, got there, what a weekend, Brian Graham, because he's the women's manager, isn't he? And they get through the
Partick must have had a bit of last year's playoff in their teeth, didn't they?
They should see that.
They
should have won that game, shouldn't they?
Could see that with the final goal. But
what a goal for Bannigan.
That's what I'm saying.
Usually with Bannigan that's over the stand, but
he celebrated like a guy that didn't know quite how to do it, and that's something she just done in the finish.
So is there a case of the players no playing for Derek Adams in there?
Would you play for him?
See that? No, after what he said, no, I wouldn't. I did something that, like you, I'm not saying you're going to go out, but are you going to go through, run through a brick wall for him? No, you're not, because he doesn't think that much of you.
Do you know what he said? The third goal wasn't even that good. It's rubbish. Scoring much better goals than in England.
But what
That, can I just say, I didn't want to put you up at the time, but that's much better than your Bucky fan impression a minute ago.
Oh, the Bucky, but I genuinely couldn't understand the word you said. That was quite good, wasn't it?
Aye, that was alright.
Can you see the end coming for Derek Adams?
He's
playing out in a way that
I don't say it's a mistake. You think?
I'm not sure I've seen one like that before. I've seen managers throw players under the bus loads of times, maybe not quite as dramatic as he did with the Morecambe comparison.
Gordon
but
says he's not done his homework.
He's basically
getting back up the road.
He was basically willing to answer the question though, wasn't he? Which made it almost
enough. He said enough. You know,
that's what he made it
know
almost
his job
worse.
to do his homework, and every player when he goes to that club and everything that's going on. But everything that's going on behind the scenes, he's got to know exactly what's
that's what I mean. If you're Roy
before.
McGregor, you'll hate that, eh?
Well, Roy will be going off. He'll be doing his nut.
But has he got a point in terms of like the budget that Ross County got and the quality player that they've got? They have struggled for it.
It's his job to make the players better.
I do think they have got
That's
quite a
his
big
job.
budget. Like for me, Ross County didn't look enough at me. I would say at the lower leagues, they do seem to go down south quite a bit to bring players in.
And
Has there been bad decisions made in terms of recruitment? Has he got a point in terms of that?
But Malky was doing all right, no?
Was he saying that they were second
Malky
bottom
was
last
doing
year?
fine.
They should have went done.
Do you think so?
Practically
No,
should have beat them
they were
over the two
minutes
legs,
away,
mate.
weren't they?
I know, but I don't think his budget's far and away for everyone else that's running about them. Maybe a wee bit low for a couple of players, but see in terms of the general squad,
Right.
they might go one or two like your Dandas or a decent chunk higher than the rest. But I still think it's a much for a muchness. And remember, Derek Adams has had 3 stints at Ross County. So see some of the recruitment that for his second stint, some of them are still there.
Are they?
He's got 2-3 that are still there for that stint.
Right.
And again, like Derek says, you need to get the best of what's available. If you're coming out and talking about how they're no good enough, they're no better than a team that he's left in League 2.
I always think that, have I heard that before? I don't think I've ever heard the manager pretty much admit that they shouldn't have
take
taken
the job
I've
for?
never heard that, honestly.
Why should he take the job if he doesn't think he can make them better?
It was amazing.
And that's what he's probably. That's the way I took it. That he says, "I can't really do it with these guys. I can't make them any better." Well, I'm afraid that's why you're getting paid the.
That's who played
money.
really well at Tynecastle as well.
Did they?
Did they?
The second last game before the split, the 2 each game, they played really well.
Oh, is that what he said? We murdered them?
That was a bit much. I didn't think it was that dominating, but the first half they were really good.
Can you see him going soon? Roy McGregor is the type that
Coming
would
out
just go
with,
into
Yeah, I
it,
think so.
with they type interviews, of course. Aye.
You want him to stay to it. You just want to see more of these interviews.
Roy doesn't mess
I
about.
loved it at the weekend.
McGregor, he doesn't mess about. As you've seen over the past
I
number of years.
I've never really interviewed him or anything, so for whatever reason, if he's been down south
Ruthless.
at different times, he seems intense. So he's very intense. I'm sure at Tynecastle, I think the press conference, he came in at Tynecastle that day and he said, just picked somebody in the front row and was just like, no, you tell me what you think happened.
That's
So
great. I hate when managers do that. innit?
Can I tell you what he is? A podcast and a radio show's dream.
Oh, I'd pay him
Talking
20 grand to get him on.
every
yeah.
Monday.
Imagine sitting
Get
there.
him in there.
Aye.
Be good, wouldn't it?
Get him on board.
Can't see it.
No,
No, he doesn't even have a laptop, mate. He doesn't even have a phone, mate, Derek Adams. Tough manager interviews that you've done one-to-ones. Any that stand out?
No, one-to-one's always been kind of fine. It was just the famous ones, obviously, like Eugene Stracken. And I think press conferences are harder. It just kind of seems, it feels intense. It's set up to be confrontational. You're at the opposite side of a table. Sometimes they're sitting up higher than you. You know, everything about it. It's just no set up to be relaxing. So I always used to just think, like, just get this. Just don't give him an inch. And in fact, Ange got a wee bit like that at the end, I suppose, didn't he? You know, people used to, Celtic fans loved it. Oh, he slaps the press about every week and all that sort of stuff.
See a press conference, what happens,
Yeah.
Gordon? Are you just totally left to ask your own question, or are you told the question to ask?
No, you would just ask your own, but that's kind of loose. 'Cause it just depends if there's an
obvious talking point you're talking about.
Aye, and Sky, it's been interesting for me recently because here it's just dead easy, but then Sky might say, so as an example, I did an interview with Alan Hutton last week, so then Sky in London are like, it was the day that Spurs were signing Timo Werner, so London are like, well, ask him about Timo Werner, obviously, like being an ex-Spurs, so I did, and that's fine. But then folk are tweeting me like, disgrace, like, why are you asking him about Spurs? You should be talking about Scottish football. And it's, I know, but it is a different audience. I wouldn't, if I was, super scoreboard, you wouldn't go and ask him about Timo Werner.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So it's just about trying to get that. I always felt Tommy Wright used to give me a hard time. I don't know why. I've always thought that. I thought just wouldn't give you eye contact or that shit like that. Just hate you. Like, I don't know if it's because I was younger as well. Just didn't like it.
Do you write questions knowing that you'll get a reaction?
Nah.
Nah.
I don't think that ever really works. You see it down south a lot. I feel like, do you know what I feel like it is up here, which can be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. It's really small. Do you know what I mean? You might, and I'm actually in a different position because I don't need to go every single week because I'm doing Super Scoreboard. But say you're somebody who's there every single week, and there's only 4 or 5 of you try and take the piss out of Brendan Rodgers. How does that serve you for the rest of the season? And these guys will do think it. Come on, Rodgers, you could be at press conferences 3 and 4 times a week. So no, I think you can kind of know. Obviously, like if you want to press a button and you want to get a good answer, but I think once you kind of cross the line or take the piss, it just doesn't really say.
Who's the world's worst for that? Jeff Shreves, mate.
Oh, he doesn't share
Shreves,
but I like it.
Do you? I think it's too much at times.
Like what?
Yeah.
I always think his post-match interviews, he proper presses the buttons all the time with managers and players.
I think you have
Kerry
to.
McIntyre's like
No,
that.
but I think it's too much.
by the way,
though.
big
I think
time.
it's too much.
Aye.
Because I think it's no...
Was it Jeff Shreves that told somebody they were suspended, didn't he?
Ivanovic,
remember?
aye.
Never seen that?
No.
He's like,
For
he's
Champions
doing,
League final,
he's doing the interview
Oh,
after
yes,
the
so he
game, and
did,
he's like,
that's right.
you're suspended. His face just dropped. Absolutely heartbroken.
The best of all
time.
times, check Young and Water.
That is the best.
That is class.
That is the best.
Tell me, Basil Bowling left up, can I play?
Then Archie walks up.
That's just...
Archie
Mate,
gives
your
him
heart
that
would
knock.
sink.
But it's when he's like, right, we'll start again. He's like, no, we'll not start again.
Aye, I
keep that in.
can't... That would be the... I'd never sleep again.
No.
So fair play to him
You'd
for
never
like...
ask a question again,
Nah.
would
But
you?
I think anyone would crumble under these circumstances now.
Definitely.
That's,
Have you been in a press conference with somebody else? A manager's gave it to another
I've seen a few with Strachan. I remember like I can't even remember the specifics either in Strachan, and then obviously nowadays you've got like a press officer as well, so see if they start getting involved then it can be awkward and you just gotta kind of keep the head down sort of thing. It can be awkward.
Were you part of the press when Brendan Rodgers took him up to his office and showed him kind of like the blueprint of what he does?
No, but I wish I was. That sounds
You heard
fantastic. It might have been, was this a Celtic?
At Celtic,
See, so press conferences are split into like broadcast and written press.
right.
That strikes
Like it
me
was
as the
written.
type of thing he would have taken the written press up.
Yeah.
Broadcast's even more like, I don't know.
Standoffish.
Aye, because they'll kind of sit more round like this and it'll be a bit more conversational. Do you know what I mean? And then,
It's literally just a voice recorder.
aye, because they just want the end kind of product.
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
care if it takes ages to get to it, whereas you're looking for that kind of soundbite.
What
sort
about
of
the
thing,
fact,
so-
has there ever been a manager you've gotten really well with?
Aye, loads. Aye, like Stuart McCall at Motherwell was a good one because that came at probably the right time where again I was going there every week. I think he probably knew I had like the club allegiance at heart sort of thing, so it wouldn't be uncommon for him to go and maybe say, go and ask me about that. Something he wanted to get off his chest. Don't know if I should admit that.
No, that's alright.
just playing up to Motherwell, but he just always sticks in my mind just because it was so early in like my career. And honestly, I loved Ronnie Dyler, by the way. Right?
Did you?
I know
Why?
like Celtic fans just like because it didn't go very well, which is a hilarious guy because he just never acted like a Celtic or Rangers manager really, which probably was maybe part of the problem. I remember meeting him in Byers Road one night and he was steaming,
that.
So I was with wasn't my wife at the time, my wife now, and one of my mates, a big Rangers fan, and his missus at the time, and he was like, whoa, and even I was a bit like, that's a Celtic manager, that's unbelievable. And then I know this podcast has got a real checkered history when talking about Amsterdam, right? But I'll go there. I went away with Celtic to one of the must have been UEFA Cup game. And we were on the team flight, came back. It was like 2 a.m, trying to get back to the car at Glasgow Airport. So I'm in the lift myself, and just at the last minute, a hand comes in the lift, and it was Ronnie. So it's just him and I in the lift, and I'm just going, oh, how you doing? And then he's like, oh yeah, I heard you were at the red light district last night. And I was like, I mean, I wasn't, by the way, just for the record, but I love that because let's be honest, Brendan Rodgers or Philippe Clement, I'm not joking with you about.
Sometimes you want people approachable,
was
don't you?
like, see, sorry, this has been taking me 15 minutes to answer your first question
Yeah,
about
very
awkward.
good.
You know, everybody says about Ange, like the one-to-one, like how he like Kenny doesn't do small talk or anything like that.
Yeah.
Remember there's a story about, is it Ryan McGowan?
On the flight.
the
Flight
flight.
and stuff like that. So the thing if you're there for Sky, you might be live, right, say at 12:30 or whatever, and you're kind of waiting and you're trying to time it all up, and then he'll maybe walk over and then somebody in your ear will say, hey, will they wait 5 minutes? And you're like, oh no, like, you're like, he won't. And to them, they're just doing their job, they don't realise, like, I remember just like, and I was kind of like, you don't want me here? So I'm like, nah, I don't think he will. And they're like, just record it then. I says, Ange, listen, we're just going to do it now, record it. He's like, so we don't need to wait? And I was like, nah, and he's like, good. I don't do small talk. I was just
mate.
so he's done a good job, because I think obviously is that if the circumstances are right, he'll kind of loosen up.
Yeah.
Do you know what's mad
But
though?
in that environment, he was just like,
did,
I don't do small talk, and I was like, there was me asking him about the weather in Australia. Like,
see when he did the wee segment with Neville and Carragher as well. I thought he was good.
oh, he's gone on a charm offensive.
Down there he has.
Aye.
He has.
Yeah.
Can you ever say like
Sure.
he comes in with us and there is he was fine with us, mate, but I just
Once it
went
gets
straight on. I was taking Brim all the time, so I asked him about tactics and he was
loved
proper
that.
into
Yeah.
that, mate. But I
Aye.
do think if you were asking him about like,
Well, don't get me wrong, he was always fine thereafter. Never even, I remember like his last one. The last one was about as spiky as it got, and it. Now you look back and you think, well, you were right. I was right because you left 2 days later, but it was before the
what did
Inverness
you ask
Cup
him?
game. It was just like, look, you know, is there anything you can say about, you know, links with Spurs or whatever? And it was just like giving it the hope, like, mate, we've been here before. You're acting like it's the first time we've had this conversation, and you can, at that one, you sit there and take it, because I'm like, I knew he was going. Do you know, it just it felt different that time.
are you allowed to respond back?
Suppose you could, but again, that feeds back in there.
What do you get?
I've got no interest in going viral because I had Barney do it. Do you know what I mean? That's not really what the job is. So, and then because Matt O'Reilly that day as well was sitting there and giving it, shouldn't believe everything you read in the press. You know, he's happy where he is. So I remember on the Sunday when the statement came out or whatever, I thought, okay.
See on the championship, Derek, Airdrie's result against St Johnstone. People in Scotland think it's crazy that people want to play that way.
I've always saw them once live, right? I saw them.
Why is that not the norm in Scotland then?
I know you crack out at me because I talk about Bologna, kind of, because they try to play all the time, but it's ingrained in them. But that's the way it's different.
When you're
now.
brought up all through the youth academies, you're brought up to pass the ball.
Aye.
Why when it
I
gets
say
to
that
first
all
team
the
does it
time.
change? This is a way to get the best out of young Scottish players, surely, no?
Aye. But doing it under pressure is a different thing, isn't it? That's when the good players come to the fore. But no, I like what Reece is doing.
See if a Ross County job did, see if Derek Adams was to go.
Somebody will
He'd
look
be the
at
type that could
Reece McKay.
get that job.
They'll be
But
looking
see
at
the thing
I
is,
feel like we've not done that a lot recently. So I was Ian Murray, Reece McCabe. We've done that recently a lot. You know, look to it's kind of the obvious place to look, isn't it? You know, kind of.
but I don't think it's fashionable for fans. I think that's ones that fans almost turn their nose at.
Well, it was a wee spell where the interim was getting it everywhere, or the head of their 18s or academy or whatever. But I don't feel like we've done that a lot recently. Who's the best manager in the Championship? If you're at the bottom of the Premiership, why is the first place you look not the? Do you know what I mean? One of the better.
One of the better ones.
Could do you Emery, I know, like Joe P's doing it more.
He's doing great.
His hands are tied as well. Sometimes
they've
he's only
struggled
got
for players all season.
He's only got 3 in the bench at times. You know, it's quite incredible. So Dougie's shown that he's.
They had a rough
he's a
time
good
as well,
manager.
didn't they? They had a wee bad spell and then they've turned around brilliant.
I can't remember the game that was on the telly Friday night. It was only about a month or so ago. I think it might have been Dunfermline, and they had 4 players on the bench.
Yeah.
Live televised game. I was like, how?
Struggle to get on.
Yeah.
And 10 unbeaten there now.
James McPake's done really well there as well. Morton, he's doing great because he did have a proper sticky patch, didn't it?
Aye.
10
But
unbeaten.
he came through it. Partick Thistle as well, Chris Doolan, what a job, eh?
Brilliant.
I went and watched him against Queen's Park 3 weeks
Always a
ago.
good watch.
What a great watch. I enjoyed watching them last year, this year, proper attacking football. Fitzpatrick, really good.
Aye,
Left wing,
by the way,
McMillan right back, really good.
the boy Fitzpatrick's a top player.
Yeah.
They'll do well to hold on to him.
Do you remember I told you about the boy Lewis Nielsen that was on loan for Heart?
Mate, he strode, I texted, didn't I? He
Lewis
absolutely
Nielsen's a
strode it.
very good player.
Right.
Aye. He just needed games. I think it was the right thing for all parties that Lewis went out and got a year of football, and I think Partick are really happy with him. But in terms of like attributes, he's really good.
Sometimes you're crying out for a wide player. You know, and Armstrong was kind of linked with Rangers, you know, and quite a few people are turning their nose up. I think Armstrong's a terrific player. But there's a guy like Fitzpatrick, you know, you put him, could he do a job? People look and go, I would listen in and go, what you talk about? I think he could, because I think he's capable. I think he could handle that. He's quick. He gets at players. He gets bums off the seats. He's a type of player you love watching. So there is players there, players in that division. Easton, that you spoke about as well, you know, at Wraith. At times he's absolutely brilliant, some of the goals he scored. So there's good players kicking about.
He didn't start the weekend, did he?
Did he not?
Nah, so I don't know if
You wouldn't start him in that surface.
Oh, yes, I'm starting him every...
No,
Scotsman, Tiger, best player, why would I start him?
No, I don't
even
think
if
it
you
was
look
that. I
at
think
him-
he must have been struggling or
But see
something.
if you listen to McGlynn, he actually not. He says we can't play our normal game. He actually says that. There was a wee quick. I got a wee quick bit.
Oh, who's it, Murray, sorry?
Ian
You talking
Murray.
about Rafe?
Falkirk. No, I'm talking. Sorry about
Aye,
Falkirk game against Bonnybrig.
Bonnyrigg Rose?
Aye, I was talking. Aye,
Alright, I was talking about Wraith.
Right, sorry.
Dylan Easton, aye.
No, I'm just talking because he didn't want to play a certain style because of the
Oh,
surface.
I thought you were talking about Wraith at Livy. Sorry, you were
No.
talking about Falkirk.
No, aye, sorry.
mate.
I was just bringing it.
They got put out.
Aye, you know what I mean? So it just shows you, it is a leveller when you go into a surface like that. And that's how sometimes you look at that game with Rangers. You know, so they've done well to come through it, but Falkirk have been phenomenal this season, and they play some good football.
Yeah.
So what a result that was for
Big
them.
result for Martindale, wasn't it? Especially Wraith going 1-0 up.
Massive, aye, desperately.
Massive.
Could that kickstart the season?
It's tough, isn't it? Like, I always think that's where like these rounds of the cup are so unforgiving, because like you're kind of expected to win, and if you don't, it just adds like so much pressure. Well, you saw the other two as we've discussed, St Johnstone, Ross County. That was in the exact same bracket, wasn't it, in terms of who's where in the pyramid sort of thing. That was the exact same. I think people were looking at that, especially when Wraith went one up, and I don't know what Livy are up to. I feel like they miss a lot of penalties. I had to look it up to see how many they'd missed another one. So when that happened on the back of it, you think, it just looks like another one of those days. But
That game went on for about 2 hours.
it was a big.
Wasn't it?
That was a late
after
one.
5 o'clock.
And that was
they
no
were still
VAR.
asleep.
That was no VAR either. That was a late one.
Aye.
That was big. I think that was important.
If you were picking an upset in that round of fixtures, you'd have probably went Wraith to beat Livy, wouldn't you?
I mean, that's the thing. You say upset. What is it? What is that? 3 or 2 places
Aye,
between them,
I
really?
know.
But no, it would have been because they're for different divisions.
I don't know if you know, but supposedly Wraith have got a bigger budget than Livy.
It's so fair.
Yeah.
Have you not seen that already? Because they got Partick Thistle, didn't they, in the next round?
Livy did?
Aye.
Aye,
Surely
So all the Partick Thistle fans are tweeting like, "Hurry the fuck up, Davey! Get your calculator out. Let's see who's get the bigger budget now."
That's incredible. Ian Murray's he was good. Did you watch his interview?
Aye, he was good.
wasn't
He was good, aye. And to be fair, that it was a decent amount. Was it an hour and 15, hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes? And he seemed as if he was willing to answer every question you were going at him. And yeah, I thought he came across really well. I watched his Airdrie team before Reece, and he played good football with his Airdrie team as well.
To be fair, Reece, he does say that he got left a great team and a great kind of under good circumstances for Ian Murray. Done a really good job at Airdrie. He's another one, Ian Murray, from the TV Premiership clubs. Are you looking at him?
Oh, aye,
Why
for sure.
no? Why no?
For sure.
Yeah, I remember him at St Mirren as well. That was he spoke about that, didn't he? Just came quite early.
Yeah.
But
Dunbar, he went from Dunbar didn't he, to St Mirren?
yeah, I think because to be fair, there was a spell where there's obviously weaving the Championship. I've had a couple of our bigger teams drop in, Hearts, Dundee United. Then Dick Campbell was the one. He was the kind of outstanding manager and with the best will in the world. It still would be an unlikely appointment for a Premiership club. So I'm now looking at that next kind of. Like they're all a good age, aren't they? And they're all, you say they're doing a good job. That's what's that? A couple mentioned 3 of them: Dougie Emery, Ian Murray.
Hungry.
You feel as if Ian Murray's got enough experience now as well, didn't you? You said the highs and
That's
the
what I
lows.
mean.
He's had a few
It's not
clubs.
just like a couple of months.
Aye.
And upbeat as well.
The
isn't it?
Wraith are ambitious, so the Wraith seem ambitious. So
The owners.
it's not maybe not as simple. If Livy's a bad example because Davey will be there till he decides to shut the club down. But it would probably take a good Premiership offer, I would imagine, to tempt him away.
What about just last on the Scottish Cup standout draws?
Watch out for the Championship.
I think it's going to be St Mirren Celtic, isn't it?
Aye.
The only all SPL tie.
But I'm more inclined to look at the Championships sides.
Partick Livy, Del. Partick Livy. Be a good game, wasn't it?
At Partick.
There's a few of them. Who else is in there? You've got Inverness. Inverness have got...
Airdrie got...
Who's got Hibs? Is it Inverness Hibs? I need to see the list.
No, Inverness Hibs, you're right.
Is it
Inverness
Hibs?
Hibs.
There's a few tasty ones, you know what I mean? So I quite fancy the Championship sides.
I thought it was you didn't.
Because I don't think there's that
Daly.
Mate, I couldn't believe that. It was Christian Daly.
Have you not seen him recently?
No, I've not seen him for a while. I couldn't believe it.
Have you not like go on his Instagram? You never seen this?
Has he got an Instagram?
You never seen this? So his Instagram is called it's something like eat beef and deadlift. Like that's it. So like if you like he's ripped, he deadlifts like 250 kilos, and then he eats like 10 eggs, steak, and then just lifts. And his Instagram's like just him in the middle of like a field, barefoot. Like
No, I didn't see it.
I swear.
I love it.
He's massive into like sports science. He was telling me like fasts and all that. Like only like eats fats. Like that's his thing. Like high fat. I'm sure when I met him, he was fasting for a few days. puts like butter in his coffee and stuff like that.
Butter in the
I was
coffee.
like,
Aye.
He definitely eats at
I've
that
seen
cat
that there.
cafe.
I've
What'd
seen
you
that.
have? What'd you have for your breakfast today then?
what did I
You were
go
in
for?
the gym, weren't you?
I was in the nursery run this morning. My wee one's just started nursery, so I'm getting into my new
Oh, you're
routine.
delighted, mate, a bit of spare time.
See, I'm an emotional dad.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah,
bit
mate.
like, I'm a bit lost, my wee pal.
Right.
Because I don't do the radio at night, I've got nothing to do all day. So she used to just kick about, and now don't get me wrong, I have been sitting in sauna,
trousers at
obviously.
ankles all day.
Sauna, as we've discussed.
So what was your breakfast?
This morning
'Cause
I went,
Andy shot me down in flames for my breakfast.
I just
What do you
went,
think I had today?
Beans and toast or
I had a
something.
milkshake.
I know, a milkshake.
milkshake.
Mate, you are a 13-year-old boy.
what do you mean?
A milkshake
And
at
a
breakfast and 5
8-year-old
beans at
body.
night.
No,
I'm not eating enough.
What's it called?
Nesquik.
Nesquik.
Oh.
What kind of milkshake?
No, it was one of was it Yahoo ones?
Yahoo! Yazoo!
Yazoo.
Yahoo. I call them Yahoo.
I had a bagel.
have a
I was
coffee
boring. Bagel,
I'll have a coffee.
Oh, what'd you have,
or not.
sorry?
bagel, banana,
you
yogurt this morning. I was alright this
See,
morning.
I'm not hungry in the morning. When I got up, I'm not that hungry. Just want to.
Kenny Miller.
1,000 calories in the Yazoo, man.
I know. No.
Last week though, Kenny Miller
Meal.
came on the show last week in Super Scoreboard and says,
Do you have?
I'm on a 3-day fast. 3 days.
No, Dana White
for
done
three?
it, that's
No,
why.
I couldn't do that.
Dana White done it.
And I said-
Supposedly it makes you
Mate,
fucking...
I was about to say, there's some guy on Instagram in there that's saying that
I'm sure
everybody
there
should
is.
be doing it.
But there's somebody on Instagram says,
For a bit, aye.
Right, so what?
You should eat
But why are you doing it?
6,000 calories a day
But
for 3 days.
what are you doing it
I
for?
think it kickstarts your
Aye, but
whatever,
what for?
and-
Tablets.
Just to look
Resets
good.
everything
feel
you
better.
To look good, I
think
feel right,
better.
alright.
And so it was day one and I said, you not hungry? He's like, no, but I'm a bit lightheaded. I was not
Aye,
surprised.
so you're starving.
Mate, 3 days without eating.
3
Just
days.
water.
Just water. I had like some minute electrolytes or something in his water, but not even allowed coffee, he said, which I thought you were allowed black coffee. But I don't know what I'm talking, I don't know anything about it, but aye.
I tried to eat at night till 12 the next day, no eating.
Will that not
Try.
interrupt
Wait,
your wee routine?
This is just, sorry, this just came to my head. It's Airdrie Hearts.
Airdrie Hearts. So that's another.
Oh, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a few crack, aye, the
It's a
championship
good-
size.
What'd you have for
Honestly.
your breakfast
Usually or this morning,
this morning?
I don't eat breakfast, mate.
See, I'm not hungry.
Fortunately,
in the
didn't eat
morning.
it.
You should have a
I'm all
milkshake.
sorry. I have a coffee and a banana, but I don't sit and eat like I can't train on like a foolish stomach. No. But on my day off, breakfast is my favourite meal of the day.
What
I'll
do you
get
go
stuck
to? Like
right
eggs,
in.
avocado.
Eggs, maybe a bit of chorizo, bagel. I love a bagel in my breakfast, but I'm
I'm
full
big on
booner for
bagels.
my breakfast and a day off.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to ask you your dream meal. Always
aye,
guess.
aye.
Starter, main, dessert.
Do you know what's weird, right? Me and my wife were discussing this on Saturday night. That's like a wild night, so we have it on Saturday night. And you can testify, you only texted me to come on here yesterday because I was the last choice. So it's not that it was pre-planned. I would always go like scallops to start.
Yeah, all day.
Then main would need to be like curried lamb chops, like
Not
tandoori
bad.
sort of
Not
lamb
bad,
chops, like kind of curried spicy lamb chops.
Could go then. What would you have with that? Would it be rice?
Aye, so it would still be rice with that. Aye,
Yeah.
like kind of spinach, that sort of.
Oh, no,
cream
you've
spinach
ruined
or
it.
something,
Ruined it.
But I'm not massive dessert, so it'd be something quite basic. Dessert doesn't really do it for me.
I guess so.
Next one. Just any sort of like kind of sponge. Aye, something like that.
Aye.
There
You
was
don't
his
drink
exotic.
there?
A primary school,
Irish
Custard pudding type thing.
primary school sponge with a
You didn't drink Gordon
sprinkles on
there?
top. Nah.
Aye.
So
I'm
it'd
the
be
only, I'm
do
the
you
only
want to
man,
be a juice?
only man in Motherwell that doesn't drink.
I know.
You're going to cut this bit out. You can't hear me say a glass of water and then expect it to go out the podcast, can you? Say I don't drink anything, really, no. I'm that boring.
You're pie and chips and beans, aren't you?
Yeah, lager tops to start. For supper, Irish
Supper.
coffee, bump.
Irish coffee is nice.
I'm impressed with it. Usually, it's like, because the young ones, usually
Think that's
kind
more
of,
than
usually
men,
like
think that's what it is.
Aye, you like your food, you like
I
your
love
grub,
it, aye.
don't you?
Love it.
Uh,
See, so you're quite fit and not, do you play football? Do you?
No, I mean, try would be the key word.
What, five-a-sides?
Did you want to be a
Aye.
football player when you were growing up?
I'd say up to probably, like everybody,
Aye.
probably just the exact same as all of you lot without the ability. So probably like 12, 13 when you kind of that was quite early to realise that it wasn't going to happen.
Did you realise yourself or did somebody tell you?
So it was at a very early stage.
Were you in an academy?
I went, I was at Motherwell for like,
All right.
but I don't even, that sounds,
So you could play?
no, I'm not one of these guys, no, that's the thing, it's not like that, it's not like I could have made it, I'm talking like 11.
Aye, but
11 or 12 and
must have
then
been.
and then the phone call comes and then it never and I never really played at all after that. I think I was one of these guys that was, as you can see, weirder than everybody, but should have probably used those years to try and Not to make it any level, I just fell away and didn't play, and then started playing again kind of in my later years.
You can't even use the drink one, can you?
Eh?
Turn to, you can't even
Exactly.
turn to the tap water.
Turn to too much water.
As soon as they discover tap
Are
water.
you pissing every 2 minutes?
Teetotal,
Just
aye.
pissing myself on the pitch every 2 minutes.
Ah, fair. You teetotal?
Yeah, only man in North Lanarkshire, that's my...
You're starting to get
I'm
better.
4 months.
Aye.
Are you?
No touch.
Right.
I've
So
So what's made you... See, my wife
Do you
tried to
know-
encourage me to go down that.
Mine was
but-
more just the fact,
Ain't
see, because I wasn't playing, I just felt guilty. Because I'm not a big drinker anyway, I'm a social drinker.
But you could justify it on a Saturday if you were playing.
So see, if it was a Saturday night, I would always sit and have 2-3 bottles of beer in the house, no problem. But see, because I'm not playing, I just felt guilty, and I was like, if I'm...
Aye, go
I
to
just
earn
don't
it.
feel right, do you know what I mean?
Aye.
I want to get back on the pitch,
Yeah.
so what's the best case scenario? Keep myself right, and it was more that. And then I said to him, like, see, just feeling a difference of taking that out, it's mad. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say I'm going to be teetotal forever, because I'm no. But for now, I'm aiming to no touching to the sun.
I was just a babysitter for everybody, the full. I now don't...
A driver.
Aye, just
Aye,
like...
it's-
Because I never... See if I felt it was ever holding me back, I'd think that would have tipped me. But I've been... All the boys' holidays in Vegas and Magaluf and
Listen,
Ibiza, like 2 weeks at a time and
fair
all that
play
stuff.
to you, by the way.
I know, but that's the
Aye.
thing, like, even looking back now, I'm like, why? Like, that's weird. Even I think it's weird, but at the time it was just... I saw some bad things.
No, there was a few. Ian Ferguson, when I was at
you not drink the name of
He
that?
was teetotal. Tosh McKinley, teetotal. It's quite a few.
Tosh McKinley teetotal.
Oh, aye.
I couldn't imagine anybody being teetotal back then. Could you?
Dad is teetotal.
Mark Wilson told you, didn't he, when he was on that
He was teetotal when he first
and then
started
just
Celtic.
went to a stag do in Vegas and then
Paddy.
just...
Right, I'm going to try that.
No, but I tell you what, I'm big on the now is my cooking, and I think that's
Cooking, eh?
take my mind off things.
What have you been making?
What, you cooking at
Tell
like
us.
midnight on a Saturday
Impress us,
night?
come on, impress us. Give us a couple of
No, you'll love
dishes.
this. I know you'll love this. Monday was just chicken and rice, so you'll love that. Chicken, rice and veg crap. Tuesday, fish tacos, mate. Breaded
I've
cod.
seen you making that.
Tremendous, you see a picture?
Dipped in the breadcrumbs with the egg and that.
Breadcrumbs in that.
That's
Frightening.
impressive, by the way.
What was
What was your
Wednesday?
choice of fish? Was it cod or haddock?
Cod.
Modern
Wednesday,
man.
Wednesday I made a
Brilliant.
Wednesday was a fillet steak.
Oh, how long did you cook it for each side?
4 minutes each side. Thursday was chicken fajitas, and then Friday.
Friday
I couldn't be arsed. She made salmon.
Your
bits.
missus is cruising, isn't she?
She's
loving
we date each
that.
other, to be fair.
Oh, she
we
did
both cook at the same time. Because
Mad.
she's very particular how she wants things, whereas I'm like, no, I want. She doesn't like spice. I love all my stuff being spicy. So we'll cook separate and I'll just batter
the
her.
food rather than what he said.
No, what he said. No, what he said.
But see, with that, I would always want like a wee glass of white wine or red
Aye,
wine. if it was
something-
cooked.
But you're an
I'm-
alky,
I'm
mate.
wee
Like,
bit
there comes to a point you need to just admit it on the podcast.
that's-
Do you eat a lot of sweets?
No, never.
No. Well, it's now and again, aye.
Right.
Now and again.
So all the time I eat sweets is when I'm with Slaney and I hate myself after it. You feel so fucking drained.
Well,
when that
I'll let you into
goes-
one. I'll get into trouble for saying this. Lewis was there for a couple of days. He's away back to Italy. When the wee kind of case thing, you carry on case and all that, full of squashes.
Oh, they're good, to be fair.
squashes,
They're
yeah.
good. Aye, they're good.
He says he took a few packets into the dressing room the last time he was here.
Boys love them.
And
Boys
the
love them.
boys loved them. And they were
But
like,
when you're
you
full
know-
of squashes.
So he's away. I says, where have you got stopped? No, that and open up and you've just got, it looks a bit dodgy, or these squashes are. So the other Italian boys, but there's all different nationalities.
Change days, eh?
Oh,
I know.
That's what you're smuggling in your
So there
case.
you go. Aye,
Yeah,
do you know
yeah.
that?
Do you know
What did you used to
Squashes.
smuggle in your
No, I
case?
just mean like you'd think of foreign guys coming over.
Fags
like,
and that.
Fags and that. I actually blame the squashes on my managerial career not working. 'Cause see away games, mate. That's all the time I would eat them. Slaney would sit in the front of my motor with fucking 3 bags, mate, and you'd sit and eat them. You get a proper laugh in the motor. See, the time I got in the dressing room, I was like an angry bastard. Just fucking shouting out. Honestly, see what? See it? Nah, they're not good for you, mate. You can't eat.
Do you know what my weakness is, Dale?
Come on.
Like, even now, iron brew. I love a can of iron brew, mate.
Anybody at Iron Brew, send them in.
You know?
1901, but it's going to be 1901.
Oh, is that like
That's like the old
original stuff?
recipe, aye.
Fish supper and iron brew. A pint of iron brew is
That's
magnificent.
What's your
It is.
just to go?
No,
to-
honestly, I don't drink fizzy juice either.
Do you?
I'm
Do you
that
not?
boring, I'm going to get kicked off.
But
here,
no,
aren't
but
I?
look at your skin and all that. It's worth it, mate. He
Baby
looks.
face.
But it must be like chocolate crisps or something.
Aye, biscuits.
Aye, and these
biscuits,
what age-
biscuits are a big
That's
one.
another
Rich
thing.
tea.
What age you?
Biscuits are
58?
unbelievable.
Look at him, he looks how good he looks.
Any biscuit.
58.
Any,
Look how good he looks. See, there's a lot to be said
any
for that.
biscuits are top drawer, aren't they? See, when you think about it, just have a cup of tea. That's about a can of like go at night.
Tonics, all that
Rock
stuff.
and
That's
aye,
not far for you.
aye.
Nice. All right, we're going to talk a wee bit about his career. Spoke about football growing up. So when did the passion for journalism?
Aye.
What I call it?
It's funny if it sounds like something you would just say in these circumstances, but genuinely, like, it's the only thing I've wanted to do. I do remember being that 12, 13. Let's be honest, you're not going to play football. Like, what are you thinking here? But just talk. Like, could you talk about it? Could you write about it? I think was the mate I wanted to write first, which was weird because I used to be kind of shy, and I thought I could write and I could do the words, but I wouldn't be confident to speak. And then weirdly, my career's gone completely the opposite. I couldn't write worth a shit now.
So what would you write on? Just games that you've watched? Games that you'd watched? Sorry.
I honestly remember like just. Well, it sounds absolutely pathetic. Like making up like a match programme sort of thing. I used to love like match programmes. That really sounded cooler in my head, honestly. and stuff like that. And then it just sprouted quite fast. And it was always about that. So I've been quite lucky that way because I know folk maybe kind of scramble about and what they want to do. But any work experience I did, right from school to uni to whatever, was just always all about that. And then, like I say, I can't really pinpoint the moment where I think just towards the end of school I suddenly became confident and thought, well, I could speak and I could, whatever in front of people rather than write, and I've never written anything, weirdly, so that was what I always wanted to do first. And just kind of.
Did you have like an idol? Do you have that?
Nah, not really, but I would just try and read like, as much as I could. I remember like I would just, kind of different newspapers and stuff like that.
Stevens in that, you would talk about.
Well, I used to listen on it. That's the thing. It's mad because like I listen to Super Scoreboard all the time. And it's alright saying like, oh, that's what I want to do like when I'm older, but if you think about it, there is only one, that's literally one job. There's only one guy that hosts Super Scoreboard, and that is what I want to do.
At that time?
Across a couple of eras, but Peter Martin would have been, so he was my neighbour, so he kind of helped like when I was younger, when I was at school, went and did work experience and stuff like that. Jim took over for Peter, and then it's around about that time that I'm kind of starting to get a bit more experience in there. Jerry took over for Jim. And then when Jerry left, Jim Delahunt.
Oh, was Jim Delahunt? Yeah. Scoreboard, does he?
And then when Jerry left, that's when I started doing it. So it was seven years ago.
Were you the same? Did you listen to it as a kid?
Aye.
Who was on your dad's motor?
Any time you were coming back for Ibrox, but I always remember the night games, which is weird. I always remember Rangers Champions League games driving home my mum and dad's car and it being on more so than the Saturday games. So
who did you like on it? Do you remember?
I always remember the person whose voices stick out the most to me is Shug and Derek Johnson.
Aye.
Derek
Johnson. Pillars of it for years. That's who, when I first started, that was like I had those two like Monday and Friday and the weekend, so they were still going strong then.
Were you ever on it, Derek?
Aye, way back in the day. Aye.
He's a BBC man, the way he's got a cushy number at the BBC.
Back in I felt
he's on 250.
The national broadcasting.
I fell into that, but that's because I'd lost my job at Stranraer. Kenny had asked me
fighting with the players.
Battle the players.
He asked me would I cover a game, and I thought I'll go down and cover a game, and I went down there with absolutely nothing. They gave us a machine, showed us how to work it, and that was me. But I had nothing. And then I had to do a report at half-time, full-time. I didn't even realise that. And I was kind of caught a wee...
So was that, writing, Derek? Or,
aye, so you have to do a report, so it's good to get a few notes.
Oh, right, I thought you meant you were actually writing a report on the game. No.
So I felt under pressure, but I knew the next week that if I was going to be doing it, that I'd be a wee bit more prepared.
Yeah.
So you're 7 years in that. Long do you think you could do that job for
7 years hosting the show, but I think I did my first game on Super Scoreboard when I was 19 or 20, so kind of that's about 14.
It's unbelievable.
20,
I think. Aye.
First game. What was your first game?
So it was funny because I'd done like a local radio station, right, called L107. Like it's like voluntary, like community radio. And I would just go to Motherwell games and just phone. So I would write it down and just phone, and you think that's pretty small time, but then it was just the exact same skill. Do you know what I mean? It's just the same with fancier equipment and a much bigger audience. And it was like Peter phoned me. I was playing amateur football at the time. Game was off in the morning. Like, what am I going to do with myself? And he phoned me, say somebody was sick. Could I go to Love Street? I mean, I always thought I was a young guy. Love Street. That's how far back we're going for a game against Dundee United. St Mirren against Dundee United like that. I remember. I didn't even have like much on me. I had pen and paper, but a bit of paper that I found.
Do you have a jacket with you?
I had my jacket. I had somebody to come and set the equipment up for me. But it's so easy as well, but I had just no idea somebody had to come. And I was shitting myself over Dundee United had a player, was his name Kovacevic or something?
Kovacevic, centre back or right back.
Like, how am I going to set up practicing it like over and over and over again? But I've always been like that with everything. We might get on to other things. I'm always quite nervous before it, in the lead up, and then as soon as it starts, nothing's like that. It just goes away. So I remember it being a bit like that.
Kind of like football, innit?
Aye,
Probably,
definitely.
probably. And they were great. So that would be like Davy Provan, Derek Johnson, Hugh, and stuff like that. And I remember so when I finished and said my last word or whatever, I'm like, right, what's going to happen here? And they were all like, oh, would you listen to this young guy? And that kind of helped, you know what I mean? But if it had just stopped and moved on, and then you'd be like, oh, how was that? And I used to go and watch a lot of Partick Thistle games, so I started doing championship games, and I just kind of built up for there. So,
is it true in your work experience you wrote an article for a newspaper about a mini golf trip with Derek Ferguson?
right, where does that research come from? Because honestly, right,
The voice.
but have I said that somewhere before? Did I? Right, because I'm like, have I ever said that before? Like, that's true. That is true, right?
So why?
Here's the thing I can't remember, and this is so. Like I said, everything was always geared about that. The first work experience I ever did was the Motherwell Extra newspaper, right? Doesn't exist anymore. And you're obviously like a celebrity in Lanarkshire, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're like the mayor
Everywhere now.
of Lanarkshire.
Yeah, everywhere.
And I think I've got it somewhere laminated. It's the first thing I ever put my name to, and it was like, I don't know, you had been brought along to launch some sort of scheme for school kids where they could play golf with like softer ball and like
Sports Scotland,
something like that. I mean, it can't have been a very good scheme because I've never heard it since. maybe shouldn't have had him as the poster boy. I've literally never heard them they play it, but there you go.
It was brought, and the reason we went into the schools was because of course they play golf, it's expensive, and sometimes we were sent into schools and just, it was in the gym halls just to see if we could spot somebody that was just a natural with a golf club, and if we could spot somebody in there, you know, and then we were to write their name down, and then we'd take it further, and then they'd be funded to help them, you know, which is good because it shouldn't be exclusive, you know, golf.
It's a hard sport to get.
It's a hard
Listen, it's not going to happen now. You don't need to sell it to us.
I know.
No, but it's done.
I was worried he wouldn't remember, and then he's told me he remembered me not wearing a jacket to rugby parties.
I know, he's
I
a
knew he
man.
would remember, but
And how was he? Be honest with you. How was he as a young?
do you know what? That's the bit I can't remember. But it was a
either.
weird work experience that, because as well, I get sent to the staff room at Motherwell Asda with Paul. Remember Paul Quinn, Richie Foran, and Scott McDonald. And again, I've got this ridiculous picture of me with like spiky hair. And they thought, I would have loved that. Obviously, being a Motherwell fan at the time, those were the two things I remember. But it was funny. Like, it's a wee local newspaper, ultra local. So folk would be phoning in and being like, somebody smashed my goldfish tank, or that level of news. You'd be like, I was really young though. Then you'd be following somebody around, and then the older you get, you know, I remember doing work experience at Clyde when Rangers, administration, liquidation, all that sort of stuff, and like spending 10 hours outside Murray Park, pissing the rain, not getting paid for it, like kind of like just trying. But that was close. I knew it was close then. Like, I don't mind like putting a wee bit of graft there, and maybe it'll.
That sounds like that Afterlife. Remember Afterlife?
Ricky Gervais.
And the guy that used to go to the house.
That's exactly what it's like, by the way. That's what local news is like. Yeah.
That's mad with the mini golf thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny.
I love that. It's great.
Do you
He'd have
remember,
went to Erin for a couple of quid, but he'd have been there.
remember Gowbo for Still Game?
Who?
Gowbo for Still Game?
Still game.
That's the only guy that came through his golfing scheme, was Big Gowbo.
I don't know.
But you were with somebody else. I'd need to look back and see who it was. I can't remember.
Big Mitch.
Was there anyone who was ever like really nice to you?
Look, everybody, honestly, it's been all the way through. I think, like I say, so Peter and Hugh and everybody at Clyde was great right for the start. Like I say, you're always going to meet like managers who are maybe a bit, you know. I think it was the age thing, but I look young as well. Do you know what I mean? So if you imagine what I looked when I was 19, I'm 34. Like, so when I was 19, I probably looked about 12.
Tommy writes fuming every time he sees you.
But no, by the most part, like they were good at helping out. Aye.
What was the Sean Rooney thing? You know, come for Sean Rooney.
I think this will be about the year anniversary when my life nearly ended.
I don't remember this.
Do you not?
No.
Oh, it's got to be.
Your life nearly ended.
Oh, look at the size of him. You got to try and if you're gonna annoy somebody, it needs to be somebody smaller than that. That's my life lesson.
But what? So
Can't believe you
what
talk
was the
about
beef? Like, why
But
did you
it's
say?
not beef. I don't know. I just tried to be a smart arse on Twitter, and he just went mad.
What did you say about her?
So it was round about Christmas. That's a key part of the joke. I'll use that term loosely. It wasn't that funny. He's been sent off, or I don't know. There's a video, and he's like,
Was it Fleetwood?
but he's going mad.
I remember
yeah.
the card, aye.
So I just tweeted something like, "Oh, must not get the Christmas presents he was after." Like, that was it. Like, Like, I thought nothing of it at all. And the backstory is quite important because I've got a baby. She's even younger, obviously, at the time. And I remember, 'cause it was just after Christmas, she didn't say my wife's sick as anything. She's can't stop being sick. She's been sick, baby's crying, it's quite late at night. So I see the first week coming back, like, Gordon, you silly little or something, I'll kill you. Like, I was like proper angry, and I'm like, wow.
I don't remember this.
Aye, so it was about a year ago, so I'm like,
And the phone just starts
so I just went like, sorry Sean, and then baby's crying, I'm like, well, right, obviously, what's my priority here? Phone away. I'll deal with that in the morning. And I got up, and I remember being like, right, how am I playing this? Like, get the phone out. But he deleted them by the morning. They were gone. But still, everybody then, folk in football, mates, everybody was just sending me messages like
Screenshots and that.
What's happened to you and all that? And I'm like, I have no idea. And then he knows.
Stays next door to Jack.
So he knows my sister,
Megan.
my sister, my brother-in-law, and he's messaging them like he's messaging them like, hope this doesn't come between us, but I'm going to kill him. Like, I was so
That's mad, isn't it?
But I don't listen. It's one of
He's
them.
usually proper laid back and like,
He was brilliant on this. wasn't he?
Aye.
And have you seen him since?
No, you must be kidding. I'll be staying out his way for at least 10 to 15 years. I don't know if somebody like at the club had said, listen, take that down, or if he had just woke up and thought, I've thought better.
He probably had a couple or something, didn't he?
What about on the radio? Because I had this
Aye.
my experience. I've said it before on the radio, where you say something and the next thing you're actually still on air and the papers have printed it and your phone's just going ding 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 and you're just getting fucking abused while you're still on your heart's actual
I
racing.
think that's more for those guys. I think that's for the pundits mostly, because I just feel like my job is just to totally referee everything. Do you know what I mean? Listen, you'll get you.
What about a pundit saying something then that just got kind of instant reaction? Do you remember?
He's in every week when you say something.
I get into trouble for announcing.
It usually goes on.
Lewis was signing a new contract with Aberdeen.
Did you?
On air. Before they had announced it.
I accidentally revealed the shortlist, and luckily it was the lower leagues. I accidentally revealed who was in the shortlist. That's about the closest. No disrespect.
What, for player of the year?
Aye. So it was like, because the email will come out and then it will say like embargoed until like the next day. But I honestly didn't do it on purpose. There's no chance I would do that on purpose, and I just kind of skimmed over it and I said the 4 names. And somebody for the PFA was on, just like furious, like, you'll never be sent any of these again. And I was just like, that's what you do.
What was your thing with
and
the
that's not a big deal, is it?
No,
it's just it'd been done and dusted. They were signing a new contract, but Aberdeen wanted to wait to announce it.
So you announced
to the
it?
press, and I announced it.
I remember listening to that on the radio.
Aye,
Dale no
it was a
phone you? Dale
five.
McInnes no phone you or something?
He never know, actually, but I know he wasn't too happy with me. But it's all right.
See, on the flip side, have you ever pulled a journalist up for something that they've said about you, or even like your brother Barry? Never,
no, because you get that.
Did you used to read the ratings in the paper?
Oh, with Barry, I would get my backup with Barry.
More than yourself?
Oh, aye.
What journalist said something about Barry that you were particularly angry about?
I mean, he said he had loads of stick over the years, so I mean, I can't remember specifics, but at times, but you can say what you want about me. I'm not bothered. But when it's family, it's a totally different thing.
But no naming any names. Have you actually phoned the journalist up?
No.
Somebody said about Barry? Nah. Or have you met him?
And they're all got a job to do anyway.
See that story Gordon Dale told about Graham Shinney pulling him up? It was amazing, honestly, because you know what he's like? He's like a big excitable puppy, right? And he just didn't, and I remember it because it was me who was speaking to it, and it was the Kazakhstan-Scotland game, and he'd said like, I just don't think he's something like, it was something like, I just don't think he brings anything to football. And I went, you mean like international football? And he went, no. And he just made it so much. I was trying. I think Andy will hopefully agree. As much as I like a bit of the kind of drama of it, I'll always try and help the guys out. I feel like that. I don't want to put them in a situation they don't like to be in. I feel like I'm the first line of defence. I tried to help him and it just gone. And then he gets sent to Pittodrie and Graham Shinney was sitting next to him.
That's incredible, isn't it? What's the chances?
Honestly.
What's the worst thing what's brought the most drama? I think you've mentioned it before.
I can't think on the spot, to be honest, but I feel as if
You're not bad.
I'll never come for a player. I'll never come for a manager.
That's different for you guys as well. You still play.
But there's definitely been things I've said, sometimes they do get taken out of context as well, which is just only going to happen, but I can't really think of the most.
It's always just going to be that, and for me or for the other guys, it's just obviously everything comes back to Celtic or Rangers. I always say this, I don't know what it's a really small example, but it sums it up perfectly. I remember it was years ago, and remember Olivier Cham, and he was flying at the time, right? It's a really small example. Alex Ray was in the show, and he was like, I think he's the best midfielder in Scotland. I think he's got everything right. So obviously Alex, well, just get 10 of the fleeces that Derek's got. And was saying that Cham was the best player, and all the replies, right, were Celtic fans being like, bitter wee bastard, can't even admit that it's Scott Brown that's the best midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Like, totally, like, and I thought that's when I knew, I was like, aye, this rivalry is just different. There's just nothing you can say.
Aye. You'll never win. Never.
What about in Twitter, in terms of Twitter? Have you ever said something on the radio that people have exploded on Twitter over?
Aye, but again, it's nothing. I'd love to say the story and say it was this big dramatic, but anything you say just gets totally taken. Aye, so even now, it's just constant here.
Is there certain shows you look forward to? Is it Celtic and Rangers?
Any chaos that's when you know you're getting just funny stuff, like mad, and again, nobody will believe it. I don't care which way around it is, and just it's like, right, that's good for business. Nothing. I feel because it was the first one, was when the night Rodgers left first time, because remember how out the blue it came.
Yeah.
Remember, like, genuinely the last. So we went 8 o'clock Monday night, not a hint of it. By 6 o'clock the next day, completely gone.
Was that the phone call of I've got a bag of cans? Is that yours?
I think I could have been, honestly, like, we had everything in that time. And
no, that was it. No, that was a guy like over his balcony or something.
Oh,
I remember that video.
I know, but I think people say that to like parody, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That was just insane.
What about
like,
funniest call you've had?
Aye, loads. Like, I'm always fascinated by where they call from. That's what makes it for me. Like, a boy, I've said this before, a couple of examples. I remember one, like, a racket, and I'm like, where are you? And he's like, just in the sunbed. And I'm like, well, as in like under it. He's like, aye. And I just, it's the thought process of like
sitting there, the sock
and there's a few of them. A boy, this was in the papers and stuff. That boy phoned maybe just last year as well. Right next to his missus in labour. She's in the labour ward, and I swear I could hear the baby, the heartbeat. You know, it's going in the room really loud. I could hear it.
Fucking.
And I'm like, oh, it's your missus, your kid, and she's like, hiya, in the background, like shouting. So it's more that, and that there's a compliment in there somewhere that people feel they can take you everywhere.
Yeah.
My favourite's Big Laurie. Big Laurie for Dennis.
Oh, is he a big deal?
Yeah, so he's the best.
And what, is he a Celtic fan?
Just the most articulate man. Just Disney. The last calling you'd expect when you hear his voice. He's just a big Celtic fan, isn't he?
Have you got anyone that always comes for you?
A boy did come for you a couple of times, eh?
I was going to say, I think that's the one that I can remember, like, after I was like, that's going to go viral, but there's nothing I can do about it. A guy just came for me.
Are you having a full-blown argument with him?
No, so much. I remember specifically him saying it was something like, Rangers aren't a good team, just Celtic are in a bad place at the moment. And I had said something like, unbeaten in 30-something games, they got to the last 16 of Europe, they're not a good team. I was like, get a miss, or something like that. And I was like, straight away, I thought,
you said
everywhere, but he proper came for me.
Then he was insulting you. I can't remember what it was.
Was it?
He was a bad player or something like that. I don't know.
Any other like proper heated debates that you can remember?
I think it's just that it's not so much that. I think this is more obviously when they swear. Like, they're the ones that will and like, or the first time that ever happened, or the first time, the one and only C-bomb I've had.
Who was that?
It's just a guy phoned in. Boy, just.
And who was he calling it?
Well, that's the thing. But he did that Glaswegian West of Scotland thing. He meant it in a good way, which is even funnier. So it was Scott. It was he goes. He was like, Rangers midfield, like, it's just missing a bit of dig, it's missing a bit of fight. He says, I hate to say it, you know, because I'm not saying I like the but we could do a Scott Brown in there. And I'm just like, oh no. So we've got that delay and it cut it off. But then once that happens, then you just go straight back live again, and the tears, I can remember, I'm a bad laugher. I look ugly when I'm laughing. I get tears like quite easily. So the tears are down, I'm like bent over at the desk and I can see the two, I wish I'd picked my words a bit better there, I have to say. And I can see the two of them laughing away, and I'm the same. And then they forgot to cut it out, the podcast. So I played fives the next day, and I came out to like so many missed calls, and Roger Hanna was one of them. He's obviously one of the kind of top dogs at The Sun.
Yeah. And
he was like, we've got a story coming on our website, and it's the headline is, did Super Scoreboard caller call Scott Brown? And I'm like, Roger, you need to make that disappear. Like, what's happening? Like, it was just a mistake. It shouldn't have gone out on it. I don't know if it ever went or whatever. The first time you hear that live on radio, your stomach just goes.
See, my first year doing Super Scoreboard was COVID season, and see, because Celtic had like a 2-3 month period where they just couldn't win a game.
You talking about dreading
some of the shows were mental, weren't they?
Wild.
Like mental.
Remember the night where they were like throwing the barriers and stuff outside?
Yeah.
Dubai, remember, came off the back of that. boy phoning in like, I can't believe
Leave there away.
he fell for mind it was the Photoshop of them by the pool. So he's phoned in, I can't believe Shane Duffy's braiding Diego Laxalt's hair at the pool. And I'd be like, I don't think that's a real picture. And that just went on and on like that.
See, as a pundit, mate, see when like they go to Dubai and that, I
He's loving
hated that sort of stuff, mate.
Are you kidding on?
What do you mean?
Celtic in turmoil? As if he's going to hate that.
I'd wait 10 years for Celtic to lose games.
See when it's Rangers in turmoil, mate, and you're driving at the radio, it's...
No, I think it's the opposite. I think when
nothing's happened.
nothing's happened, I think they're the harder shows. But my first I've only done like a handful of Saturdays, but my first Saturday show was when Celtic lost to Ross County at home. I think it was like 2-0 or something.
Yeah.
Was that a cup game?
And I'm sure that was when they probably...
that was Ross County when they went mental, mate.
But I don't know.
Can he wipe the smile off his face, honestly?
Have you ever made an arse on the radio? You ever seen anything you thought you shouldn't have?
Every weekend. Every weekend, aye. But that's
quite laid back to your son, isn't it?
But that's part, open all mics is. And I think that's part of it. We all probably get players' names wrong, we make mistakes. But that's all part of it.
That's fine.
It's just they want to kind of get the kind of, like, it's like a fan. When I go to the game, when I go in there, I kind of forget that my job is to be a reporter. I'm just like one of the guys. I want to see a good game of football. And I get excited, big games. Spittle at the weekend, brilliant goals by the way.
Good goals.
So
what about two pundits arguing when you've been listening to it? Two pundits, because that happens quite a bit on your show, doesn't it?
Sometimes Michael gives a wee bit out, so he does. But that's normally between him and Tom English and that, and Kenny. But they're always looking to create something.
Do you think you're genuinely trying to create something? An argument like between the two?
Well, Kenny will. That's probably part of his job as well, to create that, talking points and that. But I just go and enjoy the game. My problem is I spend too much time talking to punters and that running about you. Aye, and sometimes you forget that you're on air and that. So, but that's all part and parcel. Yeah. But that's what I love about it. I mean, again, that's what he says it earlier. It's not a real job. It doesn't even feel like a job.
No, mine does.
Hugh Keevins is a bit like that, and sometimes you think he's saying that just to cause a reaction.
I've went through, I keep changing my mind on this, and I know him inside out. I feel like, I honestly think he doesn't do that as much as you would think.
Right.
There's certain things he says where you will think about it.
What, he genuinely believes that?
Some of his opinions, he's just so sure of his opinion, even if I think it's miles off it or whatever, which is fine, and then I'll pull him up on it or test him on it. He's just so sure of his opinions, and he kind of admits it himself, and he makes a joke out of it. Like, the older he gets, just less interest in
You still get a run up the road?
And
aye.
Does he not drive?
Nah, doesn't he drive?
I remember that. I was on a couple of times.
That's like honestly, we'll say who's on. In fact, I've got a missed call from him. That'll be something to do with that. Who's on? That means, can they take me home? So they need to be, if they're he lives in Bearsden, so any kind of West End, roughly. They need to take him home. And then the nicest guy ever, Stephen McGinn, ages after, said to me, by the way, I live in Bishopton. The opposite way. Just didn't want to say. You must have had the displeasure.
A few. I don't mind it though, to be honest.
Kind of on your way, innit?
It's not my way.
You ever went up to his house?
No, I'll go up to his house, talk about
Right,
Friday night.
Come for a coffee. Is he married to you?
Aye.
You could, Andy. I could see you getting rustling up a bit of food for
It's a weird relationship, by the way. You wouldn't expect
you two
to get along, but I get along with you, right?
What other pundits do you get along with?
Everyone that I've done it with,
I enjoy doing it with.
Roger, Roger's who I like doing it with the most, purely because there's been 3-4 touchy subjects that, as you'll know, I'll say to him, try and keep you out of them for obvious reasons, and Roger's the best at it, whereas he can just take them and then dazzle for the other reason, because you're getting a couple of hours of madness.
Is he the best entertainment on it, Gordon Duncan?
He's just, I think they're in their own way, they obviously get different, but you just don't know what to expect next. You know what I mean? You saw it, didn't you? You saw him in the Wings thing. That's just what he's like, and it's all real. That's what's been mad for me, is living in Motherwell, and I know him personally, and I know people that he knows, and I see him out and about in the local community, and it's just what he's like, just chaos.
You had him at your house as well, didn't you? Were you not worried about him looking to your drawers and that?
That's right, when I had my appendix out, we did the show from my living room. That was the maddest experience ever. I was at Glasgow Airport, I was ready to go. I was ignoring doctor's advice. I had checked myself out of hospital, and I was going to Dubai, wouldn't be told otherwise. And then I just, what you thinking, turned round, went back, appendix out the next morning, and they said if you had got on the flight, it would have burst, you'd have died probably.
Wow.
So yeah, he did the show from my living room. No, it's just, honestly, Andy will tell you, it's just small things like, gets fancy new studio, and you're told like no drinks and like that. You maybe saw the clip last week, and he's
dropped it.
same way you see it, so he's got a coffee, so it's got a wee bit left in it, so he's got another cup, because you know he drinks 15 coffees a day.
15?
15 coffees a day, and he's worried about some hot wings.
Fucking hell, no wonder he's so horny, man.
And he is. Oh, he's always
So he puts
a very sexual man.
So he puts the other cup inside that, and no idea why, and he just does that and bashes it, and then the coffee just goes.
It's just got that.
Oh, brilliant.
And he's sitting next to him just like...
I think the live streams have elevated him even more because people can just watch what he's up to.
Do you know I went to assist him down at Glenafton, the junior side?
He was there, eh?
Aye, but so I went down, he wanted me to come in and help him out. So, first game, I don't know, I think it was against Kilburnie. So, he's done his team talk inside now, and I went out and I'm at the dugout, and game's 5 minutes gone, I'm looking about, where is he? He's not there. He was up and they've got a wee bit in the corner, so he was watching the game from upstairs. So, goes in at half time, right? So he comes down, and I was like, well, you know, cut. He says, no, I don't do that, I don't come out, that's not for me. He says, I get a better view up here. So anyway, wee bit of team talk, so he says, so he gives me my instructions on my way back out. Goes in at half time, where is he? He's not there to be seen. He used to leave at half time. After he done
at full time you went back in, he was gone.
Aye, he was away. He was up the road. He used to leave me with them all at the end of the game, all the madmen and that. I was like,
he was
brilliant.
He was director of football at Airdrie, but never used to go to games. Just used to do it because he did Super Scoreboard on a Saturday. Didn't go to games. It's more watching him, like, you know, like.
Where is he?
He came.
He's away. That's amazing.
I went, when did he go?
He went
about 4:20. I went, what?
We went golfing to Spain at the end of one of the seasons, and he came. Turns up at my house, like my mum's house, because we were all leaving for there, and he's got his stuff in an Asda bag. That he's
brought that to
luggage, and then he ended up going to Spain with my 6th year school bag. My mum had to go and get out my cupboard here, put his stuff in. He's just like just a big child. I mean, he's in his 60s, so it's incredible to still be a child.
That must be a Rangers thing. Me and Durante, Ian McCall done that. That was the rules, that we had to go with a plastic bag, like an Asda bag, whatever it was, a Morrison, whatever, away back in the day. And that was it. Plastic bag away for a week.
Wherever you went, like away games?
At Magaluf. No, Magaluf.
Asda bag.
Magaluf for a week. Bang. That was it.
What about standout moments since you've been doing the show? Scotland qualified,
yeah, Serbia was amazing. I always say it because it just did everything. Like, there was obviously the sort of drama of how it happened on the night and the penalties and all that stuff. You remember every day it was COVID, so it was such a crap time for everybody. So everybody was kind of watching or listening at home. We kept the show on until, like, I think it was meant to be 10, then it went to extra time, so we made it 11, and then obviously just erupted. Hugh Keevans phoned in steaming.
Did he?
Aye, he'd been like, it was his birthday, so I always remember the date, it's his birthday, so he'd been on the red.
Hugh Keevans steaming, that's
so he phones in as a caller, genuinely just like Hugh for Bearsden or whatever, and he starts almost getting emotional. He's like, in my 40 years on Super Scoreboard, this is the best show I've ever heard, and all that sort of stuff. Dazzler had his top off, that's another thing, right? So he took it off, and this will show you that the bravado is not always there. So Marshall saves the penalty, his top off, right, completely. We've got a couple of wee cameras in the studio. It's late at night, he phones me about 1 a.m. Delete that video, and I don't want MD to ever see that video. So somewhere there is him topless in the studio, but that was incredible. And then like Tierney, I tried, of the couple that I knew, I thought I'll send a couple of ambitious messages. Tierney came on the phone, like for the dressing room pretty much. The show was like ending, the music was playing, and I remember somebody at the window being like, it's alright, you can stay on till midnight, and I was like, what's happening? It was the kind of beauty of live radio as well, just like
amazing.
Aye, class. That would be the standout. Like I say, the ones doing it for the living room was interesting, stuff like that. Aye, but the Scotland stuff's been good, and you guys will know, like, you know,
we've kicked arse with it.
Aye, I noticed that. But you must be saving your good guests for the hydro, that's why I'm here today. But he, like, I've seen like him and other pundits getting a bit more into it as it goes, as Scotland getting better.
Yeah.
I've kind of enjoyed that because I've always been a big Scotland fan. So
it's got a lot more light-hearted, I would say, since like, the last couple of years. I did listen to it a lot, but if I'm in the car I'll stick it on. But before it was really serious for years. I feel like it's a lot more light-hearted.
It's just a personal thing. It's funny when you were saying about, you know, big arguments and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind that, but I also think we need to be conscious of, we're a wee bit different on it every night, every single night.
It's tough, that.
So see, like, forcing those arguments and then like constantly doing it, and then I think it's gone the other way, and then it's never going to please everybody. I always say that to folk, like, see if you don't like it, it's like obviously fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. I've got a long list of radio shows and TV shows and podcasts that I don't like, so it's fine. But I've always thought, like, now it just feels like maybe people can, like I say, see the guys that feel comfortable enough to phone in when they're in the labour ward. That's kind of what I'm trying. I'd rather achieve that than achieve
viral for
a mad argument. And that's maybe just in my nature.
It's like they try to create debate, but within, I'm talking about your thing with the open all mics, but then it's going to be enjoyable and real. Yeah, innit?
Have you ever been in the car as a player, or even with Barry, and you've put the radio on and somebody's actually talking about this?
Barry? No, Barry all the time, aye.
And how would Barry take it?
And
Lewis as well,
aye. No, listen, they're used to it. It's part and parcel of the job, if you want to call it a job. It comes with the territory.
Boydie came for Shinnie, didn't he, when he was playing as well? Shinnie seems to get it quite a bit,
He's got an inoffensive guy.
He's a great guy, he's all great.
I thought about Shinnie, I mean, he was brilliant with Lewis as well, his time up there.
See, that's difficult, see Boydie doing columns, like that's, you're there to have a proper hard opinion and kind of go for it. That's difficult, but folk never stop me and say, oh, that was a brilliant analysis of whatever. So it's not to say that you don't do that, but it's always, it'll be exactly like this. It's all the wee anecdotal stuff.
They'll remember the mad stuff.
Aye, what about him spilling his coffee or whatever.
Right, how does Sky Sports come about? The live stuff?
Again, just kind of was doing stuff during the week for them, reporting, going to press conferences, interviews, like we said, and then that really did surprise me. That came out of the blue for sure. It was just basically filling in for Ailey was away somewhere, and I had no sort of thought that would be something that would come about. And I was on holiday, get a text just to say, do you fancy it? It was Aberdeen Celtic in the second week of the season, would that have been? And like I said, I've done this since I was a kid, shit myself straight away. That's my first reaction. Oh no, I can't do that.
Was there a thought of that?
No, because I now know myself well enough to know it's never going to go that far. But it's like, oh God, I hope I can do that. Like, I better not fuck that up. Like, that's just, and then as the closer and closer it gets, literally it goes like that. And then I remember as soon as we went on air, and it's quite an overwhelming experience. It's more than obviously than the radio. Then as soon as I went, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I did 3 games, like I say, he was away. That might be the only 3 I ever do. That's fine, but it was brilliant.
How does it compare to radio?
It was so much more intense. Yeah, I don't know if it's just because it's new. Maybe I was a bit more uptight about my first radio show as well, but there's just so much going on. And see what Derek said, and you spoke about the light-hearted. I can honestly make any mistake really in Super Scoreboard, and I don't think it matters. We'll just laugh it off, or I'll talk about it in a bit like this even. But on there, you just know that you get one player's name wrong, everybody's on you. Never mind when it's your first game. So I had such a low bar. My mantra was, don't fuck it up and get asked back. That was it. Do enough. Such a bit equivalent to you guys wanting to just take it and go 5 yards to your side. But then as the show's going on, I'm like, right, you try and put a bit more into it. But there's just so much going on, and Aberdeen, I think that made it worse. We was away, so we stayed the night before. So we got
was that
there.
Sleepless Night?
But for a specific reason, so we're in, and again, back to me not drinking, but I'm like, what a show. I don't want to be a complete bore, do you know what I mean? But like Petrov was up and most of the crew, but actually Sutton and Boydie came up together in the morning, but they were all, kind of going for it the night before sort of thing, and I was like, right, when is it alright for me to go to bed here? Because I'd been in Super Scoreboard the day before as well for ages, my throat and that, and I was like, anyway, just before I go, one of the crew says, you'll be used to hearing all the voices in your ear from doing the radio, and I was like, I said, no, we don't have that really. I says, there's one guy can speak to me if he, and she goes, that might put you off then, you might hate that, you might not be able to do it, like, it's just before I'm about to go to bed. And honestly, I just remember lying in the hotel, and it was the same hotel Celtic were in, where the team were there as well, and I was thinking, I must be way more nervous than any of them who are playing. It's like, how the fuck am I going to do this? Like, what if it does put me, because nothing will really prepare you. It'll be right at the start. If somebody in my ear says something, I go and try and talk to them. When you're,
should have got Hugh on the phone, time whisper to me, you're trying to get to sleep.
Just go, but then again, as soon as it started, I just loved it. It was great.
So did you do prep for that? Like, did you do fake interviews with somebody in your an hour before the show?
It's not like,
it's not the same.
I got a wee hint of it in the rehearsal, but it's not really like that, because it's sometimes they're talking to you, but sometimes they're talking to each other.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
you
mean?
can hear that and you're still trying to listen to his answer,
yeah.
mate. That's hard.
And then think about what I'm going to say next. Think about if there's a break coming, and that's why, listen, there's people who've done it and are way better than me at it, and hats off to them, you know. But as the first time, and then at the end, obviously you're kind of used to this on the radio, but not so much. So somebody's like counting in your ear when you're finished. You're trying to speak and you're trying to think, right, what am I saying? And they're going 5, 4, 3, and then you're trying to make it match. And I just remember being like, do not fuck that up. That was all I had. Low expectations.
No, you done really well, mate. I
I
remember
enjoyed
watching
it. A couple
Voices in your head, eh?
exactly.
You
That's
have them
what
all
it's
the
like.
time,
I got
don't
it
you?
all the
He's done it,
For a different reason, but nah, it was good fun.
Right, just last wee bit, mate. Motherwell fan, highs and lows to follow in the club. Real low just now,
I was
innit?
going to say, we'll need to see what him and his teammates can come up with between now and the end of the season. I don't know if it's because you've got older, right? Like, the way I look at it now, I'm 34 and I've never seen Motherwell out the top flight. See, for a club of that size.
Not bad. You think of Hibs.
Only Celtic and Aberdeen, the only other one in my lifetime. Celtic and Aberdeen. Everybody else in the country. So you kind of think, I don't want to say that at some point it'll happen. I wouldn't go that far, but those don't even really. They don't even come into it. Highs have been European trips and stuff like that. And they'll test the teetotal side of things. They've had a few rough bus journeys to Wales and stuff like that. Because contrary to Twitter on Super Scoreboard, I used to go everywhere constantly. Like I tried to go every away European trip. I would have been at Paul Slane's famous European.
Did you watch Paul Slane play live?
Oh, I would have, aye.
And what was your thoughts?
Well, it was like everything. It was just to say everybody knew the kind of hype at the time, and it was that wee European run. That's what he always lives off, wasn't it?
I know you forget people that you've watched Paul Slane. Have you had an away trip with guys like Tam Cowan or that?
No, him, no. I just kind of get to know Tam latterly, like through work, and basically if there's any function in the Motherwell area that he can't do, that's when I'll get asked to do it.
We did ask him to come on here.
Exactly, I know. Busy. I know my place in the pecking order. Some of them have been mad. Like, I remember getting a minibus to Wales through the night, and again, I don't drink, and that's when I look back, I'm like, what was I doing? I remember a guy, and he was pissing out it's right up your street, you love this stuff. Out the window as we're on the motorway, and it's just like splashing back in, and I'm just like, what am I doing here? And then again through the night, and I had been working call centre or something at the time, so I remember just kind of like nodding off, and then some guy I didn't even know behind me, he's just like no fucking sleep on
Sleep
this
on the
bus.
bus.
And I'm like, hi, like, I think he's joking, go back again, just like whack all night down to watch Motherwell Llanelli or however you say it. But aye, the highs, it's annoying. The cup finals are, because we've lost every one of them, so like, I mean, losing to a Mark Wilson Celtic team in a cup final, grim. Yeah. Rangers battered them first one.
You'd have been too young for was it 1981?
I was only 2, aye, so I don't remember it.
What about favourite players falling?
It's annoying, because like, you know one here, and I'm like, Faddy was my absolute hero. I feel like I need to stop.
Oh, we need to cut
I know. I feel like I need to stop, but he knows, and that's the worst of it. And I kind of need to stop. But think about the age. Like, I remember his debut, and obviously know how good he was. And I said I'm a big Scotland fan. The day he went to Everton, I got an Everton strip with McFadden on the back. Honestly, aye. It's pathetic, isn't it?
Tumble second, like you were a big Tumble fan, weren't you?
Aye, he's good, to be fair. They'd be the kind of obvious ones.
Was Cragen's toes curly as
I saw, by the way, what has happened today, everybody you spoke about I've seen today. I saw him in the gym this morning.
Cragen?
He's looking big, aye.
Aye, he's ripped.
Toe colours,
Like that, he's toe on the...
I think he's want to come back for the throw-in challenge. Remember, it was Robbie Nielsen and him were the...
I tell you what though, Kagan was brilliant on here after all this Slaney stuff, wasn't he?
Oh, the hydro, he was incredible, mate.
See, to be fair, I liked him at the time, and he kind of epitomised everything that... but it's been brought... Aye, listen, when it's a small club, you need to pick your highs. The playoffs against Rangers and stuff like that, you know, brilliant. And
that was the Moshny game, wasn't it?
Aye.
That was wild.
Aye, crazy. Huge.
Who did he leather again?
Lee Irwin.
That's right.
Who now
Jumped off the bus and all, didn't he?
Lebanon. Aye, jumped off the bus.
He was on the bus.
So I was with Hugh, so that, like, Hugh, honestly, like, see when something like that's happening, his like glasses are steaming up, and he's just like, this is like nothing, I've not seen anything like this since the 80s. And it's like, he was going for it. I was worried about him that night, but aye. Some highs in there.
And then hopefully the rest of the season for both of you, you said staying up.
Halliday
Can you still get top 6?
Halliday player of the year.
Yeah.
Take that, aye.
Did you never get a chance to go to Motherwell Coast then?
Aye, did I not spoke about it? No. Billy Davis was the manager at the time.
Well, that'd have been the first team I really remember as well.
Billy was going to get me in, but where was I? I'm trying to think where I was at that time. But anyway, he had to get players out before he could get me in, and they didn't materialise.
You're an Ackies man, don't you?
That's it. Through.
I've always been a bit.
I was ball boy in the Billy Davis era. I could have been saving your shots for the
Well, yeah, ball
To the
boy as
warm-up.
well.
I loved that, honestly.
Proper
aye.
everywhere. People don't know us as well. Lived in Swindon, same as you.
Did you?
That's true, aye. Very
Kid.
briefly, aye. Yeah, he went to some Swindon games before.
Before I lit it up.
I never knew there was a
What's that?
previous relationship here to this extent before.
You obviously,
before the
you
podcast.
obviously don't listen to me. I've
No,
told
I
you
remember
about
the groomsmen thing,
Right.
but you never got this much detail of each other in one wedding, surely.
Quite a lot of the news that he gets for me is usually bad in terms of I've took Jack somewhere where he should have been home.
Exactly. Aye.
Yeah.
But no, me and the Duncan Leach family are tight. Big John, mate.
Telling you.
Big John.
The karaoke, I'll show you
Seen
the video.
the man's house? Love it. Here's a story for you. I've sat in a bar and his mum's and stepdad.
And I wasn't there.
No, but I was with nobody else, just me and his mum and the stepdad.
But that does sum you up more.
That
doesn't
sums
it?
you up
Aye.
100%.
It was like the first time I met them, we were in
100%.
DL.
100%. They were choking for you to leave. You were staying
Mate,
there.
I swear
The
on
drinks were dry.
Me and they two sat there for about 3 years, mate, just drinking and talking.
A small world, isn't it?
And I tell you honestly that you'd be surprised at how many links there are because you think him and I are best pals and we're not. No offence, I do quite like him, but like we don't speak that often. But remember I listened to this a couple of weeks ago and he said he got his wee boy got a rabbit for Christmas.
Aye.
Mate, that was because we had a family party and there was a rabbit there and his wee boy was obsessed.
What was that?
See his wee
Was
boy.
your auntie that?
Aye.
My wee boy, what would you
Off Santa.
Is he the most talkative child in the world?
Unbelievably. Have I never told you what he said at my mum's house?
No.
So it's quite a big house and he's out the back with me, right? Because I'm like, they're in there talking crap. I'm better kicking the ball outside with the kids. So we're playing like some Skittles or something and he's like, how old is your youngest one again?
9.
9 years of age, right? He's looking up at the house, he's like, yep, it's a nice house this, I have to say. And then he scans down and he goes, not much space in the garden though.
Oh, what a boy, man. You know, so the rabbits I hate that rabbit as well.
Is it Gordon?
Is it your auntie, eh?
Oh, who knows? She's like Dr. Doolittle, she's
That was
dishing
that
out
night we were on the
rabbits.
karaoke, mate. I remember pulling his gran or something.
Gimme your gran after midnight. That was the-
Gordon Duncan,
Brilliant.
man, thanks very much.